Pressures coming daily under pressure. Working on applying the scheme. The true sign trademark is at the edge of your dreams. I'm talking. Yeah. One shot, now the future is yours. I'm turning dreams into reality. In the lab with the formula and chemistry. Your memories spark and motivate and make the industry shake. With the bars and the breaks, I'm talking one chance to have a soul. Go for the go. It's one shot. Now the future is yours. Go. Etc.
I'm fading.
One bad headache can crash your entire game.
Excedrin relieves headaches fast.
Excedrin, game over for headaches.
It's refreshing, refreshingly sweet, but without sugar, 0 calorie treat. Now all our top flavored splash.
It's fruit freshin'.
Welcome back to Series E. Just before the break, our very own Team Esports Arena were able to get another victory on the board, but was it enough to try and take first place or even second place throughout all this? So for the final time tonight, let's take a look at the Mobile One leaderboard to see who ends up walking away with the victory tonight. It was super close, and oh my goodness, 100 Thieves do get the win. Cloud9 were only off by 6 points, securing themselves second place. But Team Esports Arena, Tom, they were only 3 points away.
And you got to be really proud of these teams sitting at the top. But let's talk about Ghost Gaming a little bit, sitting in 5th place. They were flying under the radar, Jamerson. I don't really know how they were able to accumulate so many points with us not seeing that, right? I mean, that was amazing. All we saw was Rakinishu towards that talent, not able to pick up those kills. They could have been playing on par with TSM, who was playing out of their minds today. Yes, not the best performance we've ever seen from them, but if this is any type of indication of what we see this weekend for the ALGS, I'm stoked.
Yeah, I think this is a really good just lesson in like what it means to play Apex consistently, right? Even though you're not getting like 10-point games, 12-point games every single time around, across a 6-game set, getting 5, 7, 8 here and there definitely helps out, which is honestly what happened with Oxygen, VIZIO, Excedrin, G2 throughout all of this. The middle of the pack really tightly close, but it was our top 3 teams, 100 Thieves, C9, Team Esports Arena that really showed up. And of course, TSM with their 1 win tonight.
And also keep an eye out on that 8th seed right there, that 8th seed, the 8th team, Team Excedrin, who's trying to battle it out with Nerf for that 3rd and 4th spot in the accumulative leaderboard. That's going to be big because Nerf is taking 50-50s on both of the maps. So if Excedrin can continue to put things together, they may catch up.
Yeah, I would love to take a look at that cumulative leaderboard, but first let's check in with the Mobile One high performance moment, our final one of the evening, and it's just the ending here. Esports Arena used that grav lift first to get over to this position from the building that they were at before. They were able to force off the teams that were trying to play roof, and you can see them really just trying to hold on to before this they were trying to hold on to all their tacticals for as long as they can, and right here the bubble was used for that first defensive bombardment, and then another one ends up going down, and they have the grav lift for it. Skittle Kicks should be dropping that one down very shortly here as he accidentally, I believe, fell down. But throughout all this, you can see other teams trying to get a free ride here, but Esports Arena said no.
Yeah, Esports Arena has so many different layers again to this end game. We're able to pull it off from getting the roof when they were originally on the other side to where 100 Thieves was. So like you said, staggering their abilities. That's all communication. That's all experience. So many times you see players use one ability and then all of a sudden maybe the bubble goes down. They had a complete vision on how they wanted to go and execute that one, understanding which cooldown is going to be back up faster, which one's a little bit more valuable than the other, and that's how you play the game.
So really good signs for a lot of the teams that we're really looking forward to when we make that swap over to Stormpoint in the ALGS. So taking a look at the cumulative leaderboard, this is where it's so important. Team Nerf versus Team Excedrin. Excedrin ended up catching up with Team Nerf by 15 points today. That lead on the bubble for Team Nerf, it's been cut down to 22 points, Tom.
22 points is just basically one game here. So we're one game away from potentially seeing who's going into Series E next season and who has to play back on through. But congratulations, 100 Thieves, on taking the dub today.
Yeah, that's right. That's going to do it for us, and that's it for us this week. So we're going to go ahead and send it back on over to Kaisa and Yesa to close out the show. We'll see you guys next week for more Series E. Guys, go ahead and take it away.
Thank you so much much, Jamerson and T-Squared, and congratulations, 100 Thieves, for winning first place.
Yeah, great night from them. Honestly, a couple of game wins under their belt, pretty consistently getting into the top 5 there. They closed with a solid game, getting into the top 4 as well. And, well deserved. They win Pro Night tonight. And Team Esports Arena even doesn't get into top 2. They actually finished 3rd. They're a few points behind C9, who is also a team that I feel like didn't crop up as much in our conversations after game 1, but just showed that, they started strong, and despite, not winning any games after game 1, they stayed consistent, they continued to frag, they continued to get into late circles, and it shows on the scoreboard. They're a solid 65 points. Second place, only 6 points behind 100 Thieves, so really good showing for Cloud9, Esports Arena, and 100 Thieves. All that top 3 had just kind of a really good night across the board.
Their hard work definitely pays off. Consistency is key for a lot of these tournaments, to be able to play throughout each game, to try to have a good game, or at least a decent one, to try to get those points on the board. So great job, 100 Thieves, and great job, Cloud9.
Yeah, honestly, well played, and it just makes me that much more excited to continue to watch more Apex action. Of course, we'll be back here with Series E next Tuesday and Wednesday, but the nice thing is that we don't have to wait until Tuesday.
We don't.
Because ALGS is happening this weekend, and I'm really excited about that. The action will be going on Saturday and Sunday, and we're certainly excited for it to be coming back. And now it just means, 4 days a week for the next month or so.
Wow.
I get to watch Apex Esports, and I'm kind of all about that. So I'm here for it.
And the esports doesn't stop this week here at Esports Arena, because tomorrow we have Guilty Gear Strive.
Yes, we do.
And then on Friday, Yeso and I are going to do the series recap show.
Yeah, what are we going to talk about on that?
We'll have to figure that out.
All right, we'll figure it out. Who knows? I don't know. We got a couple of days. We can
Nice
we can put something together. Yeah. All right. I got to draw some new batteries on.
Before we go, I was going to ask again about PvE, if you could just remind me what exactly is going on at our Walmart location.
Yeah, so PvE is our kind of new competitive format at our Walmart stores all across the United States. You can go in, compete on different leaderboards in multiple different titles. You can see it behind me. We got Home Run Derby and Smash, Mario Kart, Halo, Fall Guys, and more. Each individual leaderboard has its own prize pool as well. The competition runs from Wednesday all the way through Sunday, and you can enter, put up your best score, and if you don't like it, you want to keep playing, you can keep entering all until the competition ends on Sunday night. So use exclamation point locations in Twitch chat to get the link that you need, or head over to esportsarena.com, find an Esports Arena New Year, and go out and compete and say hello to all of our friends over at our Walmart stores.
And anyone can play. You don't have to be a pro player. Nope. There is money on the line, though, so you can win money if you compete.
And that's what we're all here for, right? The cold hard cash. Get
Here
to the top,
for
get to
the
the top
money.
of that leaderboard. Take some scratch home with you. That's what it's all about.
Hey, great job, Mr. Twister.
Yeah.
First place. Any final thoughts before we close out?
Good week of games here for Series E, Apex Legends. Great performance from Intel last night. Team Esports Arena and the other squads looking really good here tonight. I'm looking forward to next week. I'm excited for Guilty Gear tomorrow. That'll be really fun, so I'm looking forward to that. And just another packed, fun, exciting week here at Esports Arena. It's great to come into work every day.
Definitely. Great games. Well played, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Kaisa, and Yeso and I, as well as the entire production team at Esports Arena, thank you so much for joining us, and we hope you have a wonderful rest of your night.
Ooh, like the 301 hum, bats of bullets off your chest to the armor falling off, oh god. All those gas making you cough, feeling caustic when I drop, leave your body in a pile, let it rot. Shield cells got a lot, watch you move, you a bot, watch you fade like a thought, skull town where I bang, watch your life, watch your drain, never getting off the train, never drop another game, yeah. 301 one in my hands, different drop, same plan. To my squad, I'm the man, I'ma win this, no I can't. Sending shots, no spam, accurate, watch them slam, watch them run while they can, make them slump. Give me the loot, take what I want, all of my rounds, light like the sun, yeah I am the one, lighting you up, R301, you're all that I need, you're all that I want. We at the top, act like we scum, taking your life and leaving the crumbs, do what we want, we get the dub, living that life, yeah R301. I got the sights, H-Cog, barrel stabilized, no rock, standing mag, more shots, standard stock, ready pop. I got the sights, H-Cog, barrel stabilized, no rock, standing mag, more shots, standard stock, ready pop. Ooh, like the 301 hum, bats of bullets off your chest till the armor falling off, oh god. All those gas making you cough, feeling caustic when I drop, leave your body in a pile, let it rot. Shield cells got a lot, watch you move, you a bot, watch you fade like a thought, Skull Town where I bang, watch your life, watch your drain, never getting off the train, never drop another game, yeah. Ooh, like the 301 hum, bats of bullets off your chest till the armor falling off, oh god. All those gas making you cough, feeling caustic when I drop, leave your body in a pile, let it rot. Shield cells got a lot, watch you move, you a bot, watch you fade like a thought, Skull Town where I bang, watch your life, watch your train, never getting off the train, never drop another game, yeah. I'm breathing on gas.
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to Series E Apex Legends. Hope you're having a great afternoon. My name is Yeso, and welcome to VIZIO Week. That's what it was. It's VIZIO Week here at Series E. Of course, we have Pro Night here for Series E Apex or Open Night. Excuse me. Getting all out of whack here. It is Open Night here on Series E Apex Legends, and I'm excited to be back once again to be hosting for all of you. We're gonna have a ton of awesome games here tonight that I'm very much looking forward to. Of course, we had another exciting week of action last week, leading into an incredible kickoff for the ALGS Pro League this past Saturday and Sunday, and the Apex keeps rolling here tonight and tomorrow with Series E. It's gonna be a lot of fun, and hope you're ready for the ride. Now, for those of you that are new and maybe don't know what Series E is, I want to break it down for all of you, okay? Series E is a professional esports open circuit that absolutely anyone can join across multiple titles. We've got Apex Legends, Guilty Gear Strive, and Halo Infinite. Now, players and teams come out, they compete in our open qualifiers, and the best of the best from those open qualifiers make it into Series E. For those players and teams, they all sign contracts, they get drafted by one of our partner brands, they get paid a monthly salary, and they get to compete weekly for points and prize money. In Apex Legends, it's every Tuesday night against other open squads, just like these teams used to be themselves. And then every single Wednesday, they play against some of the best pro talent from all across North America. So if you and your squad want to get in on the fun, head over to matcharena.com/ESA or use ! sign up in Twitch chat right now to get the link you need and sign up right now. If you're looking for more information as well, you can head over to esportsarena.com. Now, of course, it is VIZIO Week here, so shout outs to our friends at VIZIO. If you want to take your gaming to the next level, you can pick up a brand new TV from our friends at VIZIO over at esports or at walmart.com/esportsarena. Man, one day off and I'm all out of whack here. But yes, walmart.com/esportsarena. You can grab everything that you need there and take your gaming to the next level with VIZIO. But production's letting me know we are ready to kick things off and get the action underway. So let's kick off another awesome week here of Series E Apex Legends.
Series E. Series E.
Series E.
Series E. Series E.
Apex Legends.
Apex Legends.
Series E Apex Legends starts right now.
And now we're seeing it once again, just like Game 2, slow down, but fueling time and time again. And geez, they think they're winning it. Chances are they're winning it.
It gets thirsted by Zera Tricky as Hakio is going to come around the corner with the spray, and now it's just one player alive over here. And this was
All right, welcome back, guys, to Series E. We have VIZIO week this time around, and I'm super excited. Jamerson here, joined by Zephyr for today's cast. Zephyr, how are you doing? Yeah, we're having some difficulties with Zephyr's audio real quickly, so let's go ahead and talk about the format for today. Of course, we have 6 matches taking place. 3 matches will be taking place on World's Edge, and then 3 matches will be taking place on Stormpoint. Excited for that. We have $500 on the line as well, going to first and second place, split between those two. It's going to be $350 for first place and $150 for second place. And of course, it's all about after the 6 games, who has the most points and how do you get the points? Well, kill points, each one will get you 1 point. And of course, placements will as well. 12 points going to first place, all the way down to 15th, which will get you only 1 point. So the higher you place, the more points you get. That's what we're looking forward to right now. And so I'm really excited because, I mean, we had a really fun weekend of Split 2, the ALGS. We saw Team Esports Arena doing something that's completely unprecedented, taking 4 wins throughout their games. We're not going to be seeing them tonight. We'll be seeing them tomorrow night. But yeah, right now it's all about our partnered squads. I mean, Team VIZIO started off the season incredibly strong. They've been slowing down just a little bit. We'll see though, during this week, can they take back basically, you know, their throne, what they started the season off with? We did have, of course, multiple squads really starting to turn things up. And right now, we really have to worry. If you're Team VIZIO, you're worried about like a Team Intel, who just last week during our open nights ended up breaking our one-night record in terms of points. They had 137, 139, can't quite remember, but breaking that overall record so far, and also closing the gap that Team VIZIO had created at the beginning of the season that was like 300 points or something. And so now with about 4 or 5 weeks left in Series E, it's a race between Team Intel and Team VIZIO. Maybe this week Team VIZIO finds the form that they had at the beginning of the season, but they've got a lot of open squads that we have to look out for. I mean, teams like Oxygen is definitely one that we're looking forward to, along with Lazarus here, who have been basically mainstays in Series E for the open nights as well. Really excited to see who really shows up tonight. We've even got Black Hand that we need to keep an eye on. I think they've been fun to watch in terms of the team fighting.
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't know if you had the opportunity to talk about him yet. I'm just kind of coming in late here, but Team Excedrin finding remarkable performance towards the end of the season, kind of neck and neck towards the tone of someone like VIZIO, placing within that top 5 consistently in these last open weeks, as well as the top 10 when we kind of address that Pro League, which is really nice because Kimchi and friends haven't really had that opportunity in quite some time, I'd say.
Yeah, it's been an up and down season for them, I would say, but right now I would love to take a look at the cumulative leaderboard to really put everything into perspective if we have an opportunity to do that before we head into game number 1, just because it's getting towards the end of the season, it's getting to the last few weeks of the season, and so it's super important. We have to remember this season, it's only the top 3 that will be securing their spot for the next season, and the bottom 3 teams will be moved down to the relegation matches where they have to play against their qualifying teams.
Hey, we'll see. Team Nerf is potentially kind of clenching their fingers here as they might be on their way out. I know they held on to that 3rd place position all throughout weeks, 6 through like 12 here. And then now with Excedrin starting to perform, starting to potentially catch back up, maybe it's not as close or secured for them. So I don't know when we may get that opportunity, probably towards the end here or at some point, but I'd love to check it out just as much.
Yeah, again, it was really fun to watch all the games that are taking place on Stormpoint. I mean, there's still so much, I believe, for us to really learn about that map and learn about how the pros played. And so I'm glad that we are doing this split here at Series E, doing World's Edge and doing Stormpoint overall. I think our teams desperately also need the practice. I mean, we get to see like how difficult the ring can be at points to try and call, and squads are still kind of learning like, hey, what are good buildings to hold? How do we hold this? There's so many decisions that you have to make that you really don't have the experience with.
Yeah, oh, you know, and some teams that might have that experience, and I'd love to get your take on it. We had ALGS this last week, and I hope maybe you got the opportunity to sit down and watch, but getting some interpretation from the best of the best and how they're starting to tackle this map. And I know we're only 2 to 3 weeks out, but do you have kind of any sense for where and how they're starting to try to work with it?
I mean, I think you kind of always have to go back to the old standard for when it comes to any map. Central location, having a central drop spot that you can loot quickly and move out of, and try and hope that it also has a beacon spawn. If you go for the VIZIO/TSM route, that's basically what they go for every single map that they play on. I mean, if you look at TSM from way back in the day, you know, they went from Cage, and then of course having Central at Fragment East, and then going again Central here in Stormpoint with that antenna drop. That's what they're going for. That's the kind of reliability that they really want to. They will forego amazing loot, right? You could be like Cloud9, you can drop over at Climatizer or somewhere else that has amazing loot and then play from the edges, or you have that kind of more flexible style where you can play from center zone or from the center of the map and have the early rotates, and then have the luxury of choosing how you want to play out from the center of the map depending on where the ring pulls.
I think having that flexibility allows for more consistent placement, whether or not you actually make your way into the ending kind of embers of zones 4 or 5. Whereas, you know, when we talk about those teams that tend to play more towards the edge, you know, locations far north, when we start discussing things like Stormcatcher and further forward with the verticality on this map, you don't really always have that opportunity. And I think just due to the size, we kind of see a lull with teams, you know, really taking their time to approach what will be the starting round 1 even. I mean, we got the opportunity, especially this last weekend with ALGs, to see how many teams really like to spend some time in the sun there.
Yeah, I think we are seeing kind of the resurgence of like a lot of the early rotates now. I mean, with the last 6-7 months of the Valkyrie meta, squads, you know, could delay their rotate into center zone until like zone 3, zone 4, but now we're seeing that some of the god spots on Stormpoint, you want to rotate much earlier on for. You want to maintain position there much earlier, because trying to fight into it becomes an absolute hellhole. And so playing that playstyle that VIZIO, TSM have been pulling out seems to be working out quite well. But you also have that old adage. I mean, if you check in what Team Esports Arena was able to do, they're a team that tends to delay their rotate a little bit more, and it worked out for them extremely well this weekend.
That's half an understatement there overall, and I don't even know where to begin. I know we're sitting here on ESA, but the fact that that team just consistently, whether they were in zone, like you do admit here, or were they not in a position where they kind of held on to Godspot, they still managed to find that overall at a certain point. But we're making our way here into Game 1 finally, and it's not quite Stormpoint. We are on World's Edge here to start off the night.
That's right, game number 1. It is VIZIO week, so let's just join on board with them. And because we were talking about them, VIZIO, this is what they do. Very similar to what they do on Stormpoint. They go to a central drop location. This is the very center of the map here, going over towards Landslide. Loot, not the greatest here. The item pathing, not the best. But it's going to be Team Nerf versus another squad once again. Nerf, no strangers whatsoever. I imagine this is Razor on the other side that they may be fighting over for this as Jimmy gets chased down, and Jets and Rambo are able to take him out. So this is going to be Gas Station coming in for that 50-50 over at Lava Siphon, and Team Nerf are knocked out first.
They make short work of that trade. It's a shame we didn't get to see how it started up, but continuing this one, it looks like Intel picking up their own stretch of kills. I love the positioning here from Fearless from afar, but he will be quickly punished. Gonna force Mooney to drop that dome and get the revive up and prevent them from going for the full collapse there.
Ooh, wow. Quick fighting for Team Excedrin as well, moving on over towards Landslide. Scissors getting taken out early on. So a lot of action taking place. It seems like with the last few weeks remaining here for Series E, teams understand they need to pick up these points. They need to start playing like Team Intel. That was the kind of change up we saw last week during open nights, where teams were starting to pick up the pace and try to match Team Intel point for point. But we'll see if anyone can really keep that tempo going. Team Intel trying to push up. They do at least maintain control over this rooftop of the building, but it looks like it's a full 3v3 as both sides were able to get their reses. And so Team Intel are just going to call it here. It's just taking way too long for them, and they need to get out of Dodge.
Right, and they don't really have the resources to expend the survivability that, you know, might put them on a better foot into trying to take that fight. And it looks like we might have seen a potential third party start to approach that area with now Intel starting to find their way back out towards this thermal station wall here. So no interest in participating in that fight until they at least loot up and find themselves on even footing here. But we do get to take a look at that zone. Going to be pulling south. No surprise there with World's Edge. Thankfully this time around though, it's not completely thermal. You've got a bit of a mix between the wall here with tree also included.
Yeah, this is really heavily indicating that wall, the tree ending, and people are expecting it to basically end either on that triangle or all the way back on top of that beacon spawn that we do have at tree. For teams that are even playing on the edges, I mean, for Team Intel, this is probably one of the worst circles you can get because they do like to fight on the edges. They do like to find these isolated fights. So after having backed away from that fight, not getting anything from it, we'll see if they can maybe try to wrap around and start moving their way north, go over towards the landslide area, maybe over towards staging, and try to gatekeep teams coming in from that area. Right now, though, it's a lot of other squads starting to move on in. Excedrin all the way up top at Fragment West as we join on board with Twisted Sin, making their way through Harvester right now, and they're running a crypto caustic composition. We don't get to see that fairly often, but it can be incredibly potent. The combination of that EMP to disable any kinds of shields or domes that go down, and then tossing in the barrels and the caustic gas grenade.
You know, I love the change that we've seen with Caustic kind of coming through with the recent nerfs that he saw towards those barrels. You know, it's no longer hold position, rely on the barrels for, you know, a substance of protection in some of these more tight zones. You know, there's more aggressive play you see utilized when this legend is picked up for any team here. I mean, great example being Skittle Cakes this last ALGS week 1 here. But it goes to show, you know, what is necessary once that's on your roster here. But starting to see a few of these teams line up. No one's making any hasty movements. The thing about it, Tree, is you've got so many opportunities with a lot of these buildings to just hold on as late as, you know, rounds 3, 4, until you are at least forced out. And that's when I consider a little bit of a deadly zone, given that you don't actually have the cover to work with at that point. And although you had been holding on, you know, you're not really picking up any KP in the process.
Yeah, it looks like Team Intel are going for that northern route that I was talking about. They are finishing off their looting path over at Thermal Station and moving up north to start gatekeeping over at that staging area. They do have a team on the tracks right now. One stuck behind. Slurpee hasn't spotted him quite yet, but they are ready to 3-2-1 him, and he's caught out in the middle of nowhere. They just take him out. They do hit for the white armor, forcing out the early bubble, but they are going to go ahead and full send it on this one. Slurpee G sliding into position. They almost got the knock. They're going to continue to chase him down. Here comes the missile swarm, but I love this kind of tamed aggression that comes out from Team Intel. You can taste it. It's palpable how they want to just go ahead and full send it, but then they don't because they understand that'll put them in a bad spot. Another fight taking place, so over at Tree right now, it's going to be Team Trash
down
in the fire right now with nades coming down.
Ooh, you've got that defensive bombardment pressuring here. Pyro climbing on the outside, trying to readdress, find his team here as the gas inside is ticking. And it looks like there's a third party here on the other window, pressuring Trash as well. They have no safety outside here, and it's Oxygen. This is the team that's pushing this one out. They throw that defensive bombardment to protect anyone from finding rotation in. I love the drop there from Kupski as well to now push forward. Aiden with that Mastiff trying to play around the back end of this Caustic Shields. They pull out towards the last remaining building here to hopefully pull off that revive, but a full 3-man is coming through. Aiden now the last member standing here. Can he survive? The gas might burn, but will it give him the opportunity to find some respite? It was so close, but now CAA, they themselves have to defend for their own life here. Aincrad, the only one left standing, has to make his way out as well.
I mean, you just have to count the teams at that point, and that's what you need to do. You cannot go in as a third party for this fight, understanding that there's a fourth team here as well, and that's exactly what happened. It's kind of the basics of Apex Legends at this point, especially here in Center Zone, when you know that this is a game state where there's going to be a lot of teams that are playing on the edges. Taking a fight like this early on, Center Zone, round number 1, you can count most assuredly there's going to be another squad there, and so I got a little bit lost in the sauce now. Anchored, we'll see if that he can maybe pick up his banners, but I don't think it's really going to be possible here, as those buildings that they were fighting in, highly prioritized buildings, one that you're not really going to want to give up early on. So he's just going to have to rat this one out. Team Splash was it looks like it was the team that was over here by staging that almost got caught out by Team Intel, or maybe they just rotated in for now, as they do have a squad caught inside the back offices. They're just going to go ahead and rotate out and start making their way through Thermal Station. One thing I also wanted to note from a little bit early on is it was a familiar name that I haven't seen in quite some time. I believe it was certified BMers. They got Lane on the roster there, and it's great to see Lane back in competitive Apex. So I'm excited to see what certified BMers can do.
Oh, we'll have to take a look and see what they may find here. We've got 6 games to work through, so hopefully some success on board here, as now we see Splash find their way through this kind of edge of Thermal Station. It goes to show that Intel themselves have made quite a heavy rotation. Last time we had checked, they were the ones holding out on that ridge, so potentially now looking to play more directly for that second zone, maybe potentially into that tree area. I mean, Splash, they're being very loose with this rotation, especially as they kind of crest this hill here. You got to be careful. A lot of teams love to sit and hold out on this choke, whether it be on the raised end or down towards this building on the south.
Yeah, I'm wondering if that might be because quite possibly they might have gone for the skyward dive and a decent scouting route. But hey, we do have the fight. Team Intel pushing into Harvester right now. Fearless, though, has to Q early as the bubble goes down on top of him. So a little bit of miscommunication there. And so now they're out of 2 really big cooldowns, but they do at least get the knock onto Bebo, and the instant thirst. Fearless needs that armor swap as well. And with that black hole going down, they're just going to go ahead and back away. I don't know if they were keeping track of who was on what team. So was that Horizon part of this squad or not? And so you can see, again, that really tamed aggression coming out from Team Intel. Despite having the 3v2 advantage, they don't really full send it. They're going to go for that quick reset, and that is why VIZIO showing up as a third party. They knew that the Horizon wasn't on the other team, wasn't on the team that they originally fought, and so they just wait this one out.
Oh, when the missiles come down with that defensive bombardment, going to force this dome from VIZIO. Fearless to start this one off with that massive straight in to find not just 1 but 2 knocks here, but woo! Got to rely on Mooney to come through on the side with Slurpee, trying to pin this one down. 301, the last member alive here for VIZIO. That Arc Scar going to force him back outside with the Peacekeeper. Can he find the shot? Has to find his way under, and still yet manages to wipe out our leader here at Esports.
All right, Excedrin finding a fight over at Lava Siphon on the southwest building of Lava Siphon. They've already got 2 knocks. Never mind. Woo! Not much of a fight here as they instantly take him out. And it doesn't seem like a third party's really coming in. Kimchi Lee's taking the time, just hit a bat and hit a med kit here. And so they'll be safe here on the southwest side if they wanted to. With round 2 closing, they could back off, hit up the beacon just to have that additional information. I mean, they do have the mobility. They don't have the bubble to go for a safe one, but it looks like it should be relatively safe for them for now. Otherwise, they'll just be playing off the platform to see if they can find an opportunity to move into the tree. As we take a look at the next ring, it is, of course, continuing to focus on that tree side. It should just be where Lazarus are currently held up in position where this ring basically ends.
You see that Intel, they had held the corner, but now are going to be fighting their way and playing direct edge. You know, you discussed picking up the KP that has accelerated them in these recent weeks, and they're looking to do just that. So maybe potentially going to take a fight against Razor, who is just ahead of them in the south here, maybe sometime soon. We take a look back, though, towards certified BMers. Lane here, a player that you had just brought up, and they themselves picking up their own KP. They're on the opposite end of launch site. They do have the opportunity to find a rotation out. For now, Black Hand This is where we just saw Excedrin here. And they don't look to be in the best of situations with Lee already down here. Looking to make their escape going out towards the west. That's going to be the full thirst found there onto Cruisin'. And that's it for Excedrin overall.
I don't know how that happens. If you take a look at the armor situation with Black Hand during that fight, they were sitting on all blues. We knew that Excedrin had all purples, so Black Hand might have been able to creep up and get a 3-2-1 or something and just team fight or one of them down early on. So Excedrin, who had just went out on a team fight, who had just gone for the reset, should have had the utility to really fight back into this. We didn't see much of a fight at all. We're now down to 11 squads remaining, 29 players left. So it should be, what, 2 squads running around as solos right now. Team Intel, they've got their next team in their sights right now, playing off the fence line. Defensive bombardment to keep them contained right now. And you can see Fearless wants to go for the peak. The EMP comes out, slowing them down. Once again, Team Intel knows when to slow down these fights. Their tempo has been immaculate when it comes to team fighting here. Going for the reset now, and they're going to try and take out the first player. But they're still having some difficulty dealing with all this caustic gas right now. So much confusion, but they've already gotten one knock, or at least one stolen away from them. Jet picking up 2 of those, actually, throughout all of that. And Team Intel now, quick portal out from Fearless as the third party's coming out. They've already lost out on Moody. Razor ends up showing up to the party a little bit late. Takes him out, but will the port be enough to keep Mooney alive?
We'll see if we can rejoin them. They're right on the bridge over there, but Fearing Live, Dress Up, they've already sniffed this one out, and while they might be peppered here, I don't think that's going to be stopping them in their tracks anytime soon as they start to line up and go for the full thirst on some of these knocks here. But for now, I'd love to see them take away this bridge. It's great for the next rotations into these zones, but whether that be Intel or a combination of teams, they're doing a great job of holding Razor back from any kind of approach here. And I know they can play this wall, but dissuading them from putting the hammer down in some of these more open areas.
This is crazy. Slurpee by himself right now is keeping Razor at bay. Getting that huge crack on the Fearing Live actually gives them the opportunity to get the res onto Mooney. Remember, Mooney's playing off of that Gibraltar. That's that quick res you're looking for, but said Fearless should be able to get him back up. Razor not able to find that opportunity to try and finish them off, and it looks like Intel might be swinging around for a go again at this fight. Razor needs to keep an eye on their north right now as a full 3-man is swinging onto them. You can see right there, Fearless going for the peak, trading away damage with Team Razor. And this is why Team Razor needed to finish off Team Intel so much earlier on. Now they find themselves a little bit pinched, getting shot from all sorts of angles, and now Team Intel trying to set up the crossfire. You can see on the other side, Razor have regrouped as a full 3. Fearless finds the angle on the side, and now the headshot landing from Slurpee G. But the intrusion and the interruption coming out from the tree teams is making this difficult. Mooney ends up going down. That's going to be Jet again. Just from long range, that is just making these fights so difficult for our squads.
Gas Station Gaming, we started with them fairly early on, and they've been continuing to punish, and now Intel, finally with a little bit of respite after that revive, can reapproach the fight here on top of Razor. That first narc onto Dress Up, now with the chase to ensue here. It's a perfect beam lined up for Fearless. It'll be in the hands of Prodigy Aces, but we understand who did the damage there. They've got the dome down. They're going to take a second, get healed back up. We know the angles, especially right here, has been covered for quite some time by the majority of those teams who hold those major tree buildings out towards the north. So probably going to have to play more out towards the wall here, maybe into the tunnel potentially, or to fight for the top end of it. But already you can see it's been taken.
Yeah, right now they are in some dire straits. You could see that there was very little ammo left for Fearless. He had swapped on over to a red armor, even though he had 24 cells. So they need to regain their bearings at this point. Let's take a look at the next ring. It's pulling over towards that connecting area, actually, between Thermal Station and Tree right now. And Precision Gaming is a team that is holding down that choke point currently. You can see DHA doing a great job of using that really high angle, but he's been spotted out. Going to be forced back to heal up once again, hitting the bats of all things as Precision Gaming. Doesn't seem like they were able to get into too many fights throughout the mid game. Their economy not the strongest. He does have plenty of cells, but you really need some bats behind it with quick resets for these fights right now. Gas Station Gaming moving their way on in from the eastern side of Tree currently. They have a team ahead of them.
Jet, our kill leader, but it's going to be Icy to pick up our first knock. This is Black Hand ahead of them here, who actually have been taken out to the down. Actually, on the far side, I still believe this is a completely separate team. That might have been a wrap there, as Icy's still trying to find those angles. They don't have a lot of time. 20 seconds to go. They're going to have to assume this position, or else here you see Jet trying to lead the fray with that bombardment coming down. Dome to potentially allow for this team to rotate through, but Jet defending against it all, up against the wall here. Rambo here with this wingman to try to provide with damage, but it's the bombardment from the sky. Lazarus defending the position they've held onto all game long. That'll take out both of these squads.
And our final ring number 5, ends up pulling towards the building that Lazarus were holding down. These are much needed kills for Lazarus as well, especially if they can pick up this loot. You can see how their economy was looking to be just a bit diminished. We got a bat in the hands of Dank, but he's only also got 1 full stack for that wingman. He needs to find a little bit more to finish off this game. But we are now down to 4 squads remaining. 4 full squads at that. You've got Nestle Splash playing off the northern side. Lazarus holding down the southeast. Great pickups there. Gold bag will be going into the hands of Dank as well. And they're getting all the heals and loot that they need to finish this game off. Now, there is a small corner of this building to play off of, but it looks like a team might be in. Precision Gaming are currently in a fight right now up against the certified BMers. Chinny got the first knock onto Bucky, so they'll have the 3v2 advantage as that squad ends up trying to take to the sky. And now Nestle Splash end up showing up to try to come in for the third party. Shinny's a little bit low, the missile swarm is a little bit short and doesn't take him quite out. As you can see, Nestle Splash continue to push up. They've got the bubble down. They're just going to use this to steal away the loot and also force back certified BMers from this spot. They're going to allow the zone to force them into this spot, and they'll just play off of the barrels here, but from behind, GS Bird is going to put some good damage down on top of them. Oi Senpai will fall, and Nestle Splash quickly had the tables turned onto them. Certified BMers taking to the skies. They're going to avoid this fight completely, and Lazarus have to be careful not to tunnel vision onto these kills down onto Nestle Splash.
In just a split second here, BMers take the building that was held before him, and while yes, they may pick up a little bit of that KP to work with, not just that eliminating Splash here, they give away what was such a great spot. Now, they're going to have to play this wall, this corner that we talk about here outside of this building, if they want to find their way to a victory, but BMers in a great situation now.
Yeah, it's going to be a 3v3v1 though. DAJ is going to be the big question mark when it comes to this fight. Even as a rat, he could be the huge difference maker, and really it looks like more than anything else it's going to be Lazarus who have to worry more about that. You can see certified BMers, they've got the headshot angles, they've got the buildings to play off of right now. And so it's all about Lazarus keeping tabs of where that one solo is. They should know that DAJ ended up getting out of there. And I believe they were trying to shoot him down earlier when he went for that Valkyrie redeploy for his squad. So now with the final 3 squads remaining here, it's all about who ends up securing this dub. You can see neither side really playing anything risky at all, but it's going to be the slow ring. And you're going to see that it's more than likely going to be certified BMers that should be able to take this win.
Now they've got much more extended to place, or much more extended space to play with when we talk about the building that they currently hold onto, or if they run up against this wall here. Even if they have to extend forward and maybe play around the boxes, they're going to be the ones that reach those first here. I love the poke, though, that Lazarus continue to put down. That's going to delay, hopefully diminish resources available here from the BMer squad, as they are going to have to take a step back. But that ring begins to close in, and you might be right, Jamerson. It's going to be DAJ coming up from the side here that might kind of be in the stake in the coffin here for Lazarus.
Yeah, if they wanted to, they could swing back around and play inside of the building. A defensive bombardment is going down right on top of them. DAJ has been spotted out, and he ends up going down. So it's the final 3v3. Early bubble out from certified BMers, allowing Lazarus to wide swing and buy some space for themselves. And it looks like Lazarus dishing out a lot of damage, dodging out on some of that as well. Quick reset from either side. Bats being hit from both squads as Lazarus goes for a quick reset. Tank tries to find the angle, but he does get tagged right now. Spots one swinging down. They're trying to full swing onto VIZIO here, who has backed away. Lazarus now bubble forward on top of certified BMers. You got the barrels choking them out as well, and Lazarus get the first knock. They take almost no damage in this fight, and that's going to be Lazarus who end up taking the win here in game number 1.
And we were building up for a completely different finish here coming out of that first game. But hey, Lazarus, they put the damage down when and where it counted there, preventing a clean rotation from coming out of the BMers, even though they held on to that building so nicely after trying to find their way out of a sticky situation with that redeploy there. But hey, props to Lazarus. They've been showing up in these recent weeks, especially with that recent roster change. It's done them well.
Yeah, congratulations for taking first place, but it was a good showing for certified BMers as well, coming in second place. A lot of big fights took place throughout this match. Let's go ahead and take a short break. When we get back, we'll have game number 2 of Series E right after this.
Verses coming daily under pressure. Working on applying the scheme. The true sign trademark is at the edge of your dreams. Yeah. One shot, now the future is yours. I'm turning dreams into reality. In the lab with the formula and chemistry. The memories spark and motivate and make the industry shake. Put the bars in the breaks. I'm talking one chance and I was so good for the goal. It's one shot, now the future is yours. Go! Excedrin.
I'm fading.
One bad headache can crash your entire game.
Excedrin relieves headaches fast.
Excedrin, game over for headaches.
It's fruit refreshing, refreshingly sweet, but without sugar, 0 calorie treat. Now all our top flavored splash.
It's fruit freshen.
Game 1 in the books, and a big win there for Lazarus as they take the W to start the day. And I don't know if you guys maybe noticed, we got a couple of peeks at the map when we were checking out the future circles kind of coming in the game. And if you notice, Lazarus were able to hold, because of that southern zone, in a building for almost the entirety of that game until very, very late when they were forced out due to the zone just pushing that building out of bounds. But they were able to hold in the south, bide their time, wait and wait and wait. The zone came to them, so did all of the teams, and while the early parts of that final fight didn't quite go in their favor, a well-timed Gibby bubble there, able to buy the time that they need, they end up winning the fight and winning the game. So let's check out our player of the game here, and then I want to talk a little bit about Excedrin and Razor before we go to our next game. But player of the game here for this one, going to be G7 Dank, 4 kills and 5 assists and just short of 1,800 damage. And of course, one of the plays of the game, getting that Gibby bubble again out at the right time to buy time for them to re-up their shields and push the fight at full health, and is certainly a big boon to them in winning that final fight. But I do want to talk real fast about Razor and Excedrin here. I prepared a graphic for you all to take a peek at here, and specifically this is because if you guys watch Series Recap last Friday, Kaisa and I were talking about the fact that these are 2 of the teams trying to break into that top 3. Of course, the top 3 squads in Series E at the end of the season hold on to their sponsorship. They will return next season. And Excedrin and Razor are right on the cusp here. You can see both of them. The very important stat, the most important stat here is that third one, points behind third place. Excedrin coming into tonight just 22 points behind Nerf. They are right on their heels. And of course, Razor, even at 110 points, is not an insurmountable difference. But the problem that I have is when you look at the points over the last 3 weeks, while 40 points might not look like a lot, it means everything when it's coming down to how close these margins here at the end of the season are. And Excedrin has just been, over the season as a whole, a much better fragging team. Their average placement essentially the same, but Excedrin gets more kills per game than Razor does, and that is certainly going to be a big boon to them, keeping Razor at bay and trying to chase down Nerf here at the end of the season. It's going to be a very tight race here as we approach the end of Season 4, and it looks like Excedrin is the best candidate to shake things up and push their way into the top 3. But definitely keep an eye on both of these squads, not only tonight, but as the season continues, because they have a shot to make some chaos there in the standings. We are going to go to a quick commercial break right now, but when we come back, we'll have game number 2 of Series E Open Night.
Hey, what's up? It's Scissors.
Yo, what's up? It's Phony.
Hey, what's up? My name is Fury.
I play Apex Legends for Team VIZIO.
For Team VIZIO.
And you're watching
VIZIO Week.
VIZIO Week.
VIZIO. Bring every world to life.
Look, he gets a shield swap, and now they're going to be comfy coming up on that hill.
Excedrin just get taken down. TSM, the third party available to VIZIO now, as TSM actually end up going out. Intel have taken them down, and VIZIO, they have the opportunity.
They secure 2 more kill points for themselves. That means VIZIO understand this is their win. They charge once to try and get that kill so badly. VIZIO making the push onto 100 Thieves right now, and just like that, their base is broken. That's right, I said their base. That's the strength of this high mobility composition. They just get right on top of you, and now VIZIO, they let victory just escape their grasps in game number 4, but this is now their chance. All right, welcome back, guys, for VIZIO Week here at Series E. It was Team Lazarus that ended up taking the victory in game number 1. So let's take a look at our first Mobile 1 leaderboard to see who stands up top. It should be Lazarus. They ended up getting a decent amount of kills there in the late game. It's going to be 11 kills overall for them. That's 23 points. And certified BMers coming in here. Second place, but not too far behind. We have plenty of squads. Gas Station Gaming, Team Intel, Splash, and even Black Hand.
Ooh. Gotta give a major props over to Gas Station Gaming. While they weren't able to make the push kind of into those final closing zones there, Jet especially, that 301, the beams that we saw after their hold from across what was Tree was phenomenal. For now, though, we'll take a look at our Mobile 1 high-performance moment of the game, and it's definitely this chokehold here in these final moments of the game.
Yeah, this was the complete turnaround for Team Lazarus. You can see Splash just overextending, trying to take out the certified BMers, and ended up getting punished for their efforts throughout all of that. You see certified BMers taken to the skies just onto the corner of the map, and then basically gain this position away from Lazarus. And
Perfect.
I thought, you know, Lazarus only has this one angle to try and peek off of, while on the other side, he had certified BMers try to set something up and try to create a cross angle here. But again, Lazarus just were able to win out strong. They did a great job. Vize surviving on his ones long enough for the rest of his squad to show up, like you said, that bubble just in time to create enough confusion for them. But here we go, heading into game number 2 of Series E for tonight. We're going to be joining on board with our winners from game number 1, Team Lazarus, to see where they drop and see how they play out the early game. So let's go ahead and hop on board with them in just a moment. We already had our first Southern Zone of World's Edge. There's only 2 games left to go, and so my hopes for, you know, having zone diversity, like you said, Ben, it's not looking good.
It never
for zone
happens,
diversity.
man. It never occurs here. Did you actually ever get the opportunity to see how the zones are specifically laid out for World's Edge? And after getting what is, you know, they don't allow for the, you know, choke zones where you have the, you know, double tiered kind of cake with the buildings, so you don't have one of those lasting kind of health battles in any zone around what is, you know, extended cliff sides is not allowed, and all these things have made it so that there's a lot more space that is playable in the south rather than the north. For now, though, this isn't a very playable situation. Got him, Coach is already burning, breathing, trying to survive with that gas, pressuring them back. Crossover also now officially down. This is Boy Senpai and the Splash team here, taking an excellent 50-50 to start our match off.
Yeah, and this isn't one of those detrimental 50-50s, right? You have a respawn beacon that's right on top of you that you can just go ahead and hit up and get right back into the game over at Survey Camp. And along the Epicenter one, it looks like it was already used. Another fight, though, Team Asurus currently over at the Vault Tunnel in between No Name. They got the first knock. Cracked Bear going down. Asurus pushing up. And it looks like this is going to be a pretty easy fight. They do lose out on nifty aims throughout all of that, but there shouldn't be any third-party pressure this early on. And so Asuras will pick up the second +3 of the game reset. They've got blue armors and well, and they're quick to move. They haven't gone for the full reset. They're just going to drop back down and heal along the way. So I like that they keep moving for their
Good
reset here. It's just slow heals for them, unfortunately. So it's going to take a little time. They got to hope that, you know, there isn't a squad over at Geyser, but over at Lava Siphon, Team Nerf, round number 2. This time around, they've got the advantage. Dimmy getting the first knock onto Icy River. You get the Gibraltar bubble completely isolated all the way on the left-hand side. Airburst nade coming out from Force. Let's see what this gets. YFP Gaming, though, over at Climatizer in another 50-50. A lot of fighting here in the early games. YFP do have them contained into the circle building for now, but they've already used their bubble and lost out on the timing to use that to try and push into the building. Might try and creep it and wait. Here comes a peek down. 41, only taking arm shield damage for that, really, from Miles, forcing out the enemy bubble. You can see Kiziv was trying to go for a flank on his ones, but he has to back away. It's going to be another reset here in YFP. This time around, though, they'll be able to push in with the bubble. 5 seconds left. Kiziv needs to hit one more cell, and now here they go. They don't even use the bubble, and they get punished for it. Johnny takes out one. Kiziv does answer back, but YFP Gaming, they've got no HP left. Baited. They should be able to push out and finish this off. Instead, they're going to try and stick the res. Getting peeked now from the other side. Kiziv goes again for another peek here. Johnny tries to go for that jump peek. And it looked cool. Doesn't really get anything out of it. But we'll see if Baited can try and get the res now with the quick bubble res with this Gibraltar. They should get Juno back into the game.
Oh, he's got the opportunity. I love the coverage on these angles here. It wasn't even able to find their way through the other side of this door. As a result, Baited come out on top of this one. And it goes back to what you said. Didn't go for the full push with the appropriate timing, especially on that dome, and they were quickly punished. We saw one member of that team get eliminated almost immediately, and that was the end for them. Black Hand here all the way down towards Lava City. They're in their own struggle. You already see Goat no longer available here. I love the angle, though, here from Yatso. He's going to be finding a double broken shield here. Look how low Kubsky and Aiden are, albeit not down. They'll have the opportunity to heal back up and reapproach this one.
They have full rooftop access right now as Razor looking to finish off this fight. DAJ has gone down. Bursty has done the damage, though, and so Razor will be able to knock them out. We're down to 16 squads already. This is round 1 just beginning. VIZIO find themselves a fight right now just outside of Harvester. It's going to be Slurpee G on the wrong side of this one. Team Intel, can they recover him? As you can see, they have already pushed up to this building. There's a one-player isolated. That's going to be Mooney. No, that's going to be the rest of Team Intel in there right now. The black hole being used while they grief the door at the same time. Looks like a lot of the damage was dodged, but Phony uses that opportunity to go for the peak, and that is going to be the squad going down. That's going to be CAA out of this one. That might mean Team Intel are able to go for the full reset, but Oxygen, they've got Black Hand to deal with once again. They should have had the mad advantage, but now the fight has gotten away from them. It is a 1-for-1 exchange until Kupski goes down, and Protectable is now the only one up. He does have his barrels down, acting as like a fourth man for his squad. So there might be an opportunity. Quick peek coming out from Protectable, getting the one clip. Now it's the 1v1 decoy. Pulls out that PK to try and finish him off. Doesn't quite connect with the shots. Both sides need to go for that quick reset. Decoy only has the slow heals as he hits the cells. It's going to be a med kit along with full armor for Protectable when he goes for that peek. We got the res taking place,
the
though.
revive.
So now he needs to go for that re-knock onto this player, getting slowed down by the knock player as well. But again, the gap's doing so much damage. He gets that one clip once more. Yasto will try to reset. He's got the med kit. He's got the bat. And we're in that same situation. It's going to be a full reset from either side. Yasto is the one that has the mobility, but on the other side of this one, we've got 2v1. As you can see, Kupski's healing up, and Kupski needs to heal up fast.
The zone!
He hits the med kit. The zone ends up finishing off Black Hand. And Oxygen, no, don't find the time to survive. It was just a grief from either side. 11 squads. We're down to 11 squads after round number 1. I mean, people complain
Crazy.
that sometimes these games can look like it's ranked, but right now, this is just looking like a public lobby.
This is just absurd. You don't even have the pressure into some of these next zones, given that you just have all the space to work with. And the fighting, it continues here, Jamerson. Trash on the outside of Landslide. Intel, they made the rotation out from Harvester here. They've got to be careful. You see their shields are a ticking, but with the dome down, they get a little bit to take some time, get those shields back up, maybe look for a reapproach to this fight here ahead of them, as they're going to have to make their way into zone here. But I mean, they've got so many other options in terms of rotation if they don't want this. I know Intel, though, they want the fight.
Yeah, they want the fights, but unfortunately, there's just so much ground for them to try and make up here. One playing off of Rocket. New Team comes in from the side with that charge rifle, getting the knock at the Fearless, who was trying to hit that Wraith Q, but it was a second off there. Now Slurpee G with this off angle, trying to buy some time for his squad mates. Maybe they can go for that fast res, but you can see they are slowly getting picked apart. Team Trash themselves, though, want to go for the full reset here, as they at least secure that thirst onto Fearless, so it will maintain a 3v2 for them. How hard they chase down the rest of Team Intel. Looks like Team Intel might try to take to the skies in just a moment. We do have the missile swarm right on top of Slurpee G, but you can see Trash, they're just backing away. They got their 1 KP. They don't really need to chase after anything else. They're going to play off of position right now, as it looks like Kimchi Lee for Team Excedrin ends up finishing off Prodigy Aces. So the fighting has not stopped whatsoever. Enemy taking out Casellos as well. Only one player left for Nestle Splash. VIZIO showing up to try and take out Team Intel right now. And Team VIZIO takes a lot of damage for it. You can see how dangerous Team Intel still are fighting into these TV3s, but Scissors is currently lurking right now. They've got the gravity lift peak as Fury goes on in, takes a lot of damage for it, but you can see how slippery
How is he not dead?
But he does ultimately go down. Scissors finally connecting with that PK to knock him out. And now there's only Mooney left, who gets finished off by Nuke Team. So Team Intel are out. They really got no points here other than the placements throughout all of this one. Team VIZIO, this is their stopping ground. They eventually swing back around to pick up some kills here at Landslide.
And there's another team ahead of them, not just out here towards the west, but the north as well. That's where we've been seeing some of the damage come through from Nuke Team. As now VIZIO, though, this is completely under their control. No hasty movements necessary. And like you said, an area that they're more than familiar with there. But I know we just saw on that kill feed Excedrin themselves picking up their own source of kills here. So two major squads who are competing. I know we just saw Yeso before we came back here onto Game 2 start to discuss what is at stake here. And if there's a team I want to keep my eyes on, especially tonight, it's going to be Excedrin. So seeing them pick up the kills, especially against another ESA team here, is nice to see. As now, though, we get a look at that zone, and speak of the devil, Lazarus already playing for it.
Yeah, we really didn't get to talk about the zone just because there was so much fighting taking place. We're down to 11 squads, 9 squads, 26 players left. So one squad currently as a duo. Don't know exactly who that is. Lazarus basically in the God spot. They've got the western side of Skyhook. This ring really indicating it's going to be pulling up a little bit northern towards that, towards the market building just north of Lazarus for now. You have Razor up there playing off the middle sniper building, and one other squad inside of Skyhook proper. One more squad making their way through Countdown now, but they do have to worry about VIZIO to their back and having to deal with that. You can see Lazarus, when you put that early focus on to getting center zone, you end up not having the greatest of armors. They're all sitting on blues, and they're not going to have as many opportunities at this point because the game was so fast, because half the lobby, more than half the lobby is dead. They have less targets to try and farm their shields off of here.
And this game is going to slow fairly down as I say that. VIZIO, they're taking their own fight. This chase that they've been on finally hitting its climax here. Phony taking out Scissors potentially next here. Can't quite find what he needs with the shot, and now Fury has to play for his team's life here with the triple take. A shot in its own right. I love the usage of the shield. Gonna get the reload on that Prowler, and that might be what he needs. Straight in for the final kill.
Yeah, Team VIZIO finding their second team fight win. That's going to be +5 overall for them. But Excedrin surviving on the edges here. They've got a team caught out. Manx to the first one to fall. Enemy finding a nice flank on the rooftop. And he does ultimately finish him off. Kimchi Lee once again does go down. We do have a compositional change coming out for them. They're going for that Gibraltar. I believe Kimchi Lee was on the Pathfinder for game number 1. But here, when you get into these fights, you need the quick reset of that bubble. So I like that they swapped back onto that one. Maybe they'll go over towards the Pathfinder when we go over to Stormpoint. But right now, this is the composition that's working out for them. Razor, though, making the rotate on in. Going to be using that Valk redeploy, I believe. No, this was the position that they were in before. They were just using that Valk redeploy to actually just scout out the area to see where the teams are, especially when you're in this weird state in the game where you're not used to having only 7 squads alive in round number 3.
This is just crazy. And in a zone like this, especially towards Skyhook, where you have so many opportunities to play through these buildings all the way up until that final zone when it's closing through there, you're going to see this one really last for a while unless these teams start or continue to just full send it at the same pace that we've seen this game as a whole progress at. I mean, round 6, you're going to be having no movement whatsoever.
Importantly, Lazarus, I believe they were maintaining control over that beacon building on the western side of Skyhook. And they started indicating that they're moving over towards that north side. So this might be that market ring that we were talking about just earlier. Razor will be keeping an eye on them. They have to figure out where this last ring ends up pulling because they don't have that ring information for themselves. So you can see that Bursty's been keeping a really good eye on them. There is one player, it looks like Vize. He's on his ones down by market side, maintaining control over the market. And you can see if they do spot him out there, they know that this ring should be ending over there. But yeah, 7 squads. We still have a duo still running around somewhere. Would love to check in with the other teams. We got Force and Nerf playing off of Sniper Hill right now. VIZIO finally making their way in to Skyhook proper. We got Lazarus playing on the western side. Razor playing off of that center sniper post. Bamclick and his squad inside Skyhook. Excedrin are making the rotate in as well. And Gas Station Gaming is the duo that are coming in. They're getting tagged up along the way, but they will find a knife-safe spot for the time being here on the eastern side of Skyhook. I say that, but Rambo just took so much damage. Oh boy, VIZIO on for another push.
Ooh, straight onto the second floor here, breaking that door down and just beaming this one out. No chance that we'll see the Trippin' squad survive. As a result, VIZIO now the only team holding this building for themselves. 6 squads remaining. Round 3 just finding its final edge close there.
Oh boy, take a look at this ring pull, actually. So some of Sniper Hill is still in. It's hard to tell if Nerf have some ground to play off of on the west side. Lazarus, though, of course, are going to be perfectly safe. They have maintained control over market and over the apartment building, the 5-story building. It looks like Nerf are just barely in, maybe, or no, actually, barely out on top with this little plateau off of Sniper Hill. So it's going to be a little bit worrisome. 6 squads remaining. That means a lot of teams can just keep an open eye on them right now. But Dimmy's doing a decent job of just poking away. Nerf will ultimately have to drop down shortly.
Or they could potentially pull back here right up against the zone wall and go for that redeploy. Speaking of the devil. Where they land, though, will be a major question. Thankfully, there's a lot of space to play here when you talk about Skyhook. Even if you don't want to go directly for one of the buildings that is in this next zone here, you could play for one of the undersides. Oh, they're going to go right up on the second floor. Maybe look to take advantage of the dome coming out fairly quickly. That gas going to prevent them from rushing inside. They are going to be taking the top floor on their own.
Yeah, one of the worrying things right now for Lazarus, I would say, on the other side of this one is that they were a little bit disconnected. And like we said, Vize was playing on his ones over by market side, but it looks like they have been able to regroup as a full. Demi ends up going down. The defensive bombardment creating so much confusion. Razor are allowed to push in as well. They get the thirst on to Demi. And now they're going to try and turn their sights on to Lazarus, but have regrouped as they pull 3 on the market side. Dresden just after topping off gets peeked, and he has to be careful, but it looks like Fear Life should be here, but nades end up getting dropped right on top of them along with that black hole, and they are knocked out. VIZIO with a great big wombo combo to finish things off. Fury, will he have enough time to build up another black hole for himself? He just might be able to. This is round 4 closing. We still have round 5 to go through. We do have the phase breach being used right on top of Lazarus right now. Vizzy is the first one to fall as Excedrin finds the knock with the Arcstar. We've got the rest of Team VIZIO showing up, it looks like, but right now Lazarus are backing away, trying to reset Lazarus in the 1v1. Dank is gonna fall as he gets peeked by both Cruisin and one more member. VIZIO is the team now who have taken the rooftop of this building, and they are even the kill leaders here during VIZIO week as well. They're not even playing. Surprisingly, we didn't even get to talk about it. They're not playing the Loba composition with the pickup of this Horizon. It's working out so well for them right now. The PK battles, Phony's got his arm shield, try and win this one out. 88-57, he gets the knock. That's Lazarus out. Team VIZIO, this could be a monstrous game for them, but Phony doesn't have the backup of his squad. He ends up going down, turns, picks that one up. Nerf are trying to steal away this building from them now. 4 squads remaining here in round number 5.
Kimchi Lee and Excedrin holding the first floor. Nerf right above them now. Looking for their own fight. They hear that revive just outside. Lee is looking, hunting with his ears here with that wingman. Barely finds the corner, pushes forward with the Peacekeeper, but doesn't quite find it due to the lift off there back onto the roof. Still, though, Excedrin, they find a great position for themselves here, now hoisted into the second floor.
Yeah, 3 teams remaining and 6 players left. Excedrin should be able to finish this one off. It's going to be a 3v2 here. As you can see, Rambo and Jet on the other side of this one, but they've got the high ground. They've got the angles. They have used that phase breach, though, from Jet to retake height up against this squad, and Arcstar, this is going to have to be crucial, but there's really no one on the other side of this one. You can see it's the full reset coming out from Excedrin. I don't know if they were able to keep tabs on the kill feed to see that it's a 3v2. They're playing this one very safely, like it is a 3v3, though, so I like that they're still playing this one extremely cautiously, that Arcstar narrowly missing out. Again, Excedrin have to push up for the roof, though. Jet is on his ones. Rambo can join him. He does have that passive as the airburst nade connects. That's 2 onto Jet, but Excedrin not pushing out quite yet. Still playing this one very slowly here, without knowing that it's a 2v3.
Might not have that information, but they've got one heck of a position to work with here. Rambo dropping down, getting potentially a change up on that shield, maybe to work with the damage, or go for the potential shield reset later when the fight takes off. Utilize that right on the edge. Has to be careful. Excedrin could also partake on their own right here. They're still holding up against the bomb. They do have that ultimate to work with from Ash if they want to go for the full send of that push. Potentially the Nox Gas Grenade, or my apologies, the Defensive Bombardment also available as well if they want to play for that second floor.
They should have gotten the sound cues. They know there's an Ash. They know there's a Valkyrie on the other side. And so if they do have that defensive bombardment, it is going to be free for them, because I don't think they've heard a Gibraltar arm shield go up. I don't think they've heard a Gibraltar dome or seen a Gibraltar dome. So they have a pretty good idea of what they're fighting up against. And so right now they're just slow playing this one. They don't need to peek out. They've got this bottom floor of the building, which has priority on the ring right now, as opposed to what the other squad is playing off of. They have to be the first one to peek. There's the knock onto Rambo, and now it should be a full send as 3 onto the roof. But it looks like there are other plans here. They hear the res instantly. It's going to be the re-knock onto Rambo, and that's going to be the finish. Team Excedrin end up taking the win here in game number 2.
Hey, and that was the team I said to watch out for, the very first one going into tonight, especially given how close their journey is here at ESA currently. And I got to give them major props. They not only held out there in the end against Gas Station Gaming, albeit a 2v3, they were fighting directly into the hands of VIZIO and Lazarus and the rest into that final building before they were the ones to take complete control. So props.
Yeah, Excedrin ended up getting the win in this game, but Team VIZIO, they were fragging hard. And so I predict that when we come back from break, our Mobile 1 leaderboard is going to look extremely close, especially at the top there. So let's go ahead and take a break. When we get back, we'll have game number 3 of Series E right after this.
What an interesting coincidence there that I highlight Team Excedrin in my last segment, and they come out and grab a victory there in Game 2. Big win for the team as they're trying to jump up that Mobile 1 leaderboard, and very, very well played. Let's check out our player of the game here for game number 2, and it's going to go to Cruzen. Cruzen has been a big part of the success of Excedrin throughout this season, and 7 kills and 3 assists in that one is certainly a big boon to the squad. Also just short of 1,500 damage there, so that's a solid showing, and at the very least a good 22 points or more for Excedrin in game 2. Definitely jumps them into the conversation, especially because Lazarus, I believe, finished with 23 after game 1 and got out a lot earlier this time around, so Excedrin certainly jumping into that conversation. I also do want to take a peek at a very key play from Team VIZIO in this last game. While they didn't win the game, they got a good chunk of points and did finish with 13 kills despite getting stuck at 4th place. So let's take a look at this play, because this is a very important clutch here from Fury. Both Scissors and Phony go down here in pretty quick succession. So we'll see this momentarily, and then we jump to Fury's POV where he's playing with a Prowler and a triple take, and he's just going shotgun mode here with a triple take. A couple of scope shots there, but he already hit one no scope, looking for another here, not quite able to land those shots, but does get one there, and now able to buy time here. Very key. You see this a ton, of course, in professional play. Players buying time, sitting behind the knockdown shields of their teammates, and then I just love the little 180 finish there with the Prowler. But of course, a huge fight there, because with Scissors and Phony down, if Fury cannot clutch the 1v1 there, then they're just done, and they're gated at, I believe they would have finished around 10th if Fury doesn't win that fight. So a key clutch for Fury. It's a bunch more points there for VIZIO. Of course, a team that started the season incredibly well, have been a little more inconsistent over the last 4 to 5 weeks, but looking to return to form here tonight. So big games from VIZIO and Excedrin in that one, and certainly well played from the entire squads of both. We are going to go to a break though right now. Do want to give another shout out though, of course, to our friends at VIZIO. It is VIZIO week here, so if you're looking to take your gaming to the next level, go buy a brand new 4K UHD smart TV from VIZIO over at walmart.com/esports arena. You can pick one up today, along with products from all of our partners here at Series Z. Let's go to that break now. When we come back, the final game of the first half.
welcome back to Series E. Just before the break, we had one of our fastest games that we've ever witnessed here in Series E. More than half the lobby dead for round number 1 closing, but it was ultimately Excedrin was able to weather out the storm of all the fighting there in the early game, take the win at the end, and so that might put them on top of the leaderboard. Let's go ahead and check in with the Mobile 1 leaderboard now to see who stands up top, and it will be Team Excedrin. Not by much. Team Lazarus are still there. Right now, though, in second place with 27 points, you got VIZIO and Gas Station Gaming not far behind as well.
VIZIO here, finally finding some footing after what was a 12th place start coming out of that game 1. Now sitting happily in third. So you were right. You made the prediction, and it, of course, came true here, saying knock Gas Station Gaming down a peg as we come out of that second game here.
Yeah, and taking a look at the Mobile 1 high performance moment, this was one of the fights that Excedrin took early on. You can see this is round number 3. We're already down to 8 squads here, and this was fairly crucial for Team Excedrin. Winning out this fight, they're able to pick up that beacon, and they're able to rotate in with that Valkyrie later on. And so very crucial kills for them here. And you can see just as enemy was swinging up, they had that beacon to play off of. So this is, you know, kind of the game plan that a lot of squads try to go for. Fight on the edges, fight over a beacon if you can, win that one out, and then you'll have that ring 4, ring 5 information that Excedrin were able to use extremely well. But great flank coming out from enemy to really win them out this team fight.
There's nothing more nice than watching enemy swoop through the back. There's no attention paid whatsoever, as instantly he is eliminated there. It just seems like he's just sleeping. But hey, it's one last standing member. You gotta do the best that you can here. Speaking about the best that you can, we take a look at the teams. The best of the best here. VIZIO and Intel high above the rest, but oh, look at how close it is between Nerf and Excedrin.
Yeah, it's only a 4-point difference. Team Nerf currently on the bubble here on the overall leaderboard. 4-point difference. And there is a sizable gap between Excedrin, Splash, and Razor. But, you know, for Splash and Razor, there's still a chance for them to try and catch up. So the 4-point difference between Nerf and Excedrin, well, that can easily be cut down. There's 101 points between Excedrin and Splash, and we still have many weeks left to go. I mean, we've seen amazing performances. Just last week, we had Team Intel taking a 137-point game or 137-point night. And so if you have a performance like that, all of a sudden, the entire leaderboard is just upended. You can find yourself propelled into that bubble spot. But right now, Team VIZIO is that one squad that we're looking at. Currently up top in the first place spot. They have, what is that, a 208-point advantage over Team Intel. So Team Intel slowing down just a little bit tonight. We'll see if they can pick up the pace. We still have 4 games left to go. We'll be going into our final game of World's Edge in game number 3 in just a short moment. And here we are. We're going to be joining on board with Team Excedrin. And I'm glad we're joining on board with Team Excedrin because they're another squad that's been getting into early fights so far tonight. So let's go ahead and join on board with them.
See who they're matching up against regarding that 50-50. Haven't been keeping too keen of an eye here, seeing who goes toe-to-toe with them, but I'm assuming we'll be seeing just as much or the same when we talk about the speed at which these lobbies have fallen. And it wasn't my words, but a little bit of the puppy in terms of a description as we talk about how things are coming through here on World's Edge.
Ooh, first look at the ring, and I'm glad that this is the first thing we do because we know we're not going to have any breaks whatsoever. This one's pulling down towards the Lava Siphon, and almost all of Lava Siphon is in. So you're really looking at the southeast side of Lava, where that beacon is. Just a little bit to the southeast of that is where you're really looking for this ring to probably end up. There's a chance that it goes up to the northern side over by the northern no-name Lava Siphon, but that's a very small chance. And we do have early fighting. Once again, Nerf versus Jet and them down there at Lava Siphon. We got to go ahead and start swapping around because we've got multiple 50-50s taking place.
Yeah, all a day here, and this time around Nerf not as lucky. They've gone 1-1 here regarding the starts in terms of success. Not the complete full wipe last time around, but Gimme says otherwise. He gets his own return on Jet here, so this is going to put Nerf on the better foot here, as that's arguably one of the best players that we've seen from Gas Station Gaming in these recent games, and we got the opportunity to second and the last, and now forced to drop not just one but two here. Didn't realize Icy had fallen as well. Got a little bit of a rat over here on the central end of Lava Siphon. Nerf making short work of this trick.
It looks like down over here, we got another fight taking place as Rivalries has already fallen. That's going to be Minion taking that one up. But Lane, oh my goodness, Zanabu comes in for a second one. It's down to a 1v1 at this point. Zanabu, what's he got left? Well, he does have a clip and a half left here, as both sides are just going to go ahead and hit up the heels, but who ends up opening the door? That was beautiful. You saw Minion back away from the door so that Shinny can walk up and open up the door from his side. And then Certified BMers win out the fight. So, you remember, you're down, but you're not out. You can still contribute into these fights by, well, opening up a door.
Oh, that's gotta feel just awful there. Weren't able to defend yourself. Didn't even get the opportunity to shoot back. Nothing like the 1v1 we saw in game 2 there when we highlighted VIZIO. But for now, BMers, they're in a wonderful position here to play at least the high ground outside of launch site and slowly find their way into Lava Siphon as this game extends forward. For now, though, completely safe.
Yeah, and honestly, with like the game state, if they wanted to, they could probably just go into Lava Siphon for free. Gas Station Gaming, though, still with only Rambo left, has ultimately been hunted down. That's the rat being snuffed out and exterminated. Nerf. See why Lava Siphon is such a prized drop spot. Triple purple armors for them. They're on top of a beacon as well, and they'll be able to pick up that info. Right now, they're starting to move their way on to the north, and I'm wondering why. They've got pings down there, and they are regrouping as a full 3. Demi's going to take this opportunity to try and find some more loot. Blackhand, though, in their fight here on the southeast side of the map, they've got, I believe it should be necessarily Splash, but it's Razor that are fighting up against Bucky and his squad. They've already lost out on Bursty. Bubble fighting. Hitting for the 64 flash. Finally gets the knock there. Only hitting for that last one pellet. Fearing Live comes in to help him clean up. And that's going to be DAJ and them going down. Here's Team Intel coming in for the third party, though, right on top of them. I don't think they even had an opportunity to try and go for that res. So Team Intel should be able to find all 3 kills here. Fearless on his ones on his left. Have to be careful just a bit. That high ground angle proving to be quite deadly, and Fearless backs off completely. It looks like they were able to get the res on the other side of this one, so Team Intel does no longer have that 3v2 with a full 3v3. Mooney forced the bubble out early, and you can see on the other side, they're just playing, waiting for this bubble to go down. The port's going to be set up from Fearless. They no longer have the advantage in the fight. They will back away.
That was so close there. Had it just been a second earlier, we would have seen Intel potentially take that fight. Speaking of fights, though, they just keep coming here tonight on ESA. We got Nerf in their own poor position. It looks like they've got their own wrap here on the Oxygen squad. They find the drop unprotectable, but they're going to lose Dimmy at the same time in his entirety here. No longer available. Force what? A ways away as well. A big split here, giving up this great position that they had held onto quite nicely for a majority of this game. Wonder how that transpired.
Yeah, it's a thirst for a thirst. It's a 2v2, but again, it's so early on in this game, you don't know who could be rotating through. Lazarus ends up showing up throughout all of this. So now they've got to back away. I'm trying to figure out where Dimmy's body is down, but I think it might just be outside of this building. So we'll see if they can come back for a second pass to try and pick that one up, but I don't think they're going to have the opportunity to try and get that banner, get him back into this game. So Nerf, despite winning the 50-50, despite having the ring pulling over towards them, they're going to have to play this one as a duo. Lazarus, once again, set up for the late game here. They've got the composition to do it as well. They've got that Caustic Gibraltar for the huge ultimates in the late game.
And we haven't discussed them much this game, but Oxygen also in this area. They themselves also at a 2-man deficit. And I bring them up because only 2 weeks ago, they finished first here over VIZIO in their own open night. Now, though, Blackhand, they haven't quite moved out of Dome as far south as they are. Decoy and Goat forced back here. Yatso going to extend the last bit of damage to try to defend his squad, but there's too many shields ahead of him here, and that'll be it as the certified BMers find their way out of launch site for some extra KP.
Yeah, and you have to worry when you're Black Hand and you're rotating this way from dome side. You know a lot of teams, especially fighting out of launch site, will kind of rotate this way at times. But we have to talk about this fight. Excedrin versus Intel. Intel were able to sweep into launch site now and actually build a lot of space for themselves. You can see Slurpee, G, and Fearless trying to wrap around for a flank, but instead they'll back away. It's one of those decisions they have to make. If we don't have the advantage, if we don't have the positional advantage anymore, we end up trying to back away and allowing the enemy to make a mistake right there. That could have been it. You can see the defensive bombardment doing a lot of damage, but still they don't want to try and fight up that zip line. They're going to allow Excedrin to go for the reset, but Excedrin don't want them to get away. They're going to go ahead and give chase.
See if they can find an angle here. This really extends deep into the low ground when we talk about this valley here. So if they get a nice line of sight, they may be able to take advantage of the backside here, but they're just too far away to extend any kind of beam there. Had they rotated maybe just a little bit quicker, we might have seen the break. Now, as a result, Excedrin going to pull back, hopefully get the beacon scan now that they have awarded themselves after pushing Intel out of that area, and then see where they can rotate. They have enemy if they want to utilize that redeploy, or if they can find their way through maybe potentially the vault below.
Yeah, and quick update, we do have 15 squads, 45 players, so it looks like all of our teams were able to get the reses onto their players, so Oxygen, along with Nerf, were able to recoup their losses. Aided, though, currently in a pretty bad fight. Only white armors up against the squad that were inside of that caravan. Bubble has been used, defensive bombardment. Here comes Splash with the third party, and Baited is just going to try and go for any kills here, but really, you just have to run, as Linkseed is the only one alive for Baited, and there we go. He makes the call. He hits a cell before he tries to slide on down. Splash is going to show up to finish off YFP in just a moment. They are getting these kills on the ground, but they're not actually getting credit for it, unfortunately, for Splash, because they didn't actually finish off a squad. They do get the +3 for YFP at the very least. Baited might have an opportunity to swing back around and try to pick up those banners of his two squad mates. He does have the beacon right there to the south at the mini dome, but it's all dependent on what Splash do here. How long do they stick around around these bodies, as we have Team Intel now wrapped around. Again, I believe it was Team Excedrin that was chasing them down from landslide, so the tables might have been turned here, Ben.
Potentially, if they maybe came through on the vault area, they might now be just south of them, but that up there, redeploy, might be saying different. This is exactly where we just saw Excedrin, so that could potentially be them finding their way towards the eastern side of Harvester here. They themselves, once again, being a sort of gatekeeper here towards Intel's range. Nerf, though, like you said, back in a 3-man full force here, trying to fight their way in towards Lava Siphon. Once again, they've held out this building. They're trying to set it up with turns, and they've got a squad, potentially Oxygen, right above them.
Yeah, they do have most of the entrances covered here with those caustic barrels. You can see the door locked just behind them with that one barrel, keeping the double doors closed. This looks like it's going to be largely passive, but never mind. We do have the nades coming in along with that Nox gas grenade. Bubble has been used. Big 66 from Force allows him to get the knock onto Lazarus. So it was Lazarus actually pushing the issue onto them. You can see them. Nerf going for the reset instead. They're not going to chase after that knock. They're going to allow Force to heal
upstairs.
And maybe hit up that medkit, but he hasn't hit it to heal quite yet. Turns is taking his time now to hit a bat himself. It's going to be the slow heals. And Nerf, they're just getting punished because of the lack of economy that they now have from that early knock, from that early res that they had to take here. So they're just gonna go ahead and back up, regroup, not chase after these kills, but getting shot up from behind. Dimmy, you gotta be careful. Now, the playable area that they had before has been basically cut down to half here as Lazarus. They were able to regroup as well on that second floor, and it's just gonna be wasted meds basically on either side from this engagement.
So no kills confirmed here, but a third squad just a bit outside. We saw what was one member. It looks like they find their way back out towards kind of that northeastern building, the mesh that you have right on top of this lava siphon area, so weren't exactly looking for any kind of participation into the fight, especially since we didn't see any of those drops. But you've got to take note of that now, given the fact that they could potentially come in at any given moment if Lazarus and Nerf take it toe-to-toe. So what was a potential opportunity, like you said, wasted. Resources now gone here.
This is also, crucial ultimate excels that are being used by Lazarus. Ultimate excels that end up proving more and more valuable as the game goes on. Now we got Nestle Splash giving chase to someone, it seems like, or maybe they were getting gate kept on their way into Lava Siphon. They currently are not safe in, but this is round number 3. They've got 2 minutes to just kind of laze about and figure out exactly how they want to approach this, or maybe even wait for someone else to rotate into them. We're just keeping a good eye on that Lava Siphon side for the moment. Casello's watching the back over at Geyser, making sure they don't get creeped up on. They did find early kills, so I can agree with Splash slowing things down just a bit. Razor, though, they've got to fight ahead of them. It's actually 2 separate squads, one coming out from that Lava City Vault tunnel right now. They're even getting aggressive with the Rage Portal, looks like. Black Hole going it down along with the nades, but the timing is just a little bit off because of that Gibraltar bubble. That port was used to get them out, and now Razor, they've got to be careful, but they should have the Q to work with the bubble used by Razor. No, he's actually just going to hold on to it because he just ran past it, and now Fearing Live finds a nice high ground angle onto all 3 members of this squad. CAA getting picked apart by Fearing Live, and he's just fearless throughout all of this. He'll secure that thirst and then back away.
I love this, the split, and you've got Bursty on the side that is protecting, at least up until now. He was covering the northern end of this fight here. Intel, they have made their way down towards the south. They picked up a wipe onto Team VIZIO of all squads and are just south of where we saw that fight transpire here. They're going to be able to take advantage of this high ground here just out in front of launch site and potentially rotate in or just pick up what kind of pepper damage they want here. They don't seem to be making any hasty movements. They're just taking their time looting up VIZIO.
Yeah, I mean, we have to remember, they did play aggressively, very aggressively last week, and they were the ones that were setting the pace of basically every single match. But this week around, team started off game number 1 following the exact same game plan that Team Intel had. And so the opportunities that Team Intel found last week, they're not finding them here. That's because there's less and less kills, less teams for them to try and full set it onto. Excedrin, though, on the bridge side, finding a fight right now, but they've got to be careful. They're getting shot up from that western edge inside of Lava Siphon, so they can't full send it. This might be Razor turning onto them, so Excedrin need to regroup as a full. If they want it, they can take the high ground of the train tracks here, but it looks like they're just going to try and get their bearings and take a look at that ring pull exactly as we called it, pulling to the southeast side of Lava Siphon.
In the middle of that kind of valley area that we've been seeing a lot of these fights transpire against teams like Excedrin, just below them in particular here, and a little bit of that cliffside that might still prove an advantage if the zone doesn't kind of take these teams off it when we look towards round 5 and further. Razor, though, still underneath, pressuring this squad. It's not quite Excedrin. Another instead here, unable to find what they want with that thermite, but will continue to provide. Bursty especially utilizing that 301. Now we begin to see the tick here as the Valkyrie is broken.
Yeah, I imagine that's going to be Splash on stuck underneath in between Excedrin and Razor, but you can see that the pressure that's coming out from the teams up top is going to force Razor back, and really they didn't have to try and force anything. They just kept finding the cracks, and they almost got baited in by the damage that they were doing, but the fight has been turned around onto them. You can see the full send coming out from the squad. Bubbles on either side, but the first knock comes out from Cruisin' with that Arc Star, taking out Fearing Live. Now Razor in a 2v3. They've lost out on Fearing throughout all this. Here comes the flank from Splash, though, turning things on to Excedrin. And you've got to have approached this fight so much better. You knew you had a team pinned down underneath. There were 3. Keep track of everyone. And so Splasher just gifted this free rotate in now as Kimchi Lee gets finished off. Oxygen will go down to Lazarus as well. We're down to 10 squads remaining. Razor losing out on Bursty. Nerf even getting into a fight. So much fighting taking place here in round number 4.
And we're about to go down to about 8-7 squads in just a short moment.
I was going to say, this taking place even before the close here. Teams trying to find those rotations out before they are back up against the zone. Asura is one of them to find greater success for themselves. The nuke team squad eliminated here, as like you said, we're now sitting pretty at 8 remaining. Asuras, I believe they might be one of the few squads to still hold on to this high ground area. See if when they extend forward into this kind of little opening that is still left available here on Siphon, if there's another squad still playing it. I like the way they approach it slow. They don't want to put themselves too far forward and pay the price, but yeah, I think they're doing well for themselves. I don't see a single other team, really.
Yeah, they do have one just off to their south, but they're going to be safe to play off as Lazarus finishing off turns. We're now down to 6 squads, 14 players remaining. So we're going to maybe have 2 rats running around throughout all this as Splash. They were able to weather the storm. Remember, we had 2 squads that were really turning the screws onto them. They were stuck at the bottom of the bridge, but now they were able to push out and buy a little bit of space for themselves. Lazarus, oh, do you really want to try and go for that no-scope? Dank helps him out.
Come on!
First, and he lines up the shot. Yeah! Prodigy Aces will fall with that body shot. Now, Lazarus, will they go ahead and push to try and finish them off? There's only 1 player remaining on that Splash side, but the defensive bombardment at least secures that thirst onto Prodigy Aces. Oi Senpai will fall as well. And now Splash are just down to 1 player remaining. VIZIO knows it. He wants to go for that peek. He's just going to go for that no-scope. Misses it, unfortunately. Quick armor swap just to finish him off. But they're not able to. They have to back away once again as VIZIO gets tagged big. Dank is the one at least holding down the angle for his squad. VIZIO gets the thirst onto Oi Senpai here. You can see they are struggling. Mooney ends up going down for Team Intel, and now Slurpee G backs away. They've got no meds left essentially here. Slurpee G only with the slow heals. Asuras will finish off 2 members of Team Intel. They're up as a full 3. We got Lazarus up as a full 3. Castella's finally going down. Splash knocked out. 5 squads remaining. 6 of those players on Asuras, on Lazarus. That means our remaining squads are basically all solo. So 3 rats running around.
Ooh. We'll see who'll snuff them out as one by one they begin to fall. Slurpee G picking up the first, being Pyro. We've got another out here towards west. Potentially, Billy Lazarus wasn't quite watching the extent of where they were positioning. And yes, I am correct. That is, in fact, Lazarus slowly trying to fight their way forward. And for being the last 2 3-mans, neither hold on to things like the cart or some of these other god spots. They're going to be taking it fairly out in the open in these next few moments.
So just the rats trying to secure as much placement points as possible. Dreza there for Razor.
There they go.
And then
Now
Slurpee G for Team Intel. Lazarus, though, they cannot tunnel vision onto Team Asuras. They have to be wary of the rats that are still running around. But of course, the enemy that's ahead of them currently is that Asura squad. Slurpee G ends up taking out Dreza. Rat-on-rat violence throughout all of this. So that's going to be crucial because that's not just 1 point that picks up. That's the additional placement points as well.
Oh!
Great headshot coming out from VIZIO, and now things are opened up for Lazarus here. You can see instantly VIZIO trying to find the angle. Nifty on his ones outside. 72 damage just from that 301 spray. He's got the secondary peek as well. Bird coming in, getting the knock onto Nifty, and the instant thirst for the armor swap for VIZIO to take if he wants to. Now, they were able to get the res at the very least, but the re-knock onto Obe, and now it's just Mangsta surviving inside of that bubble. GS Bird is the last remaining member of Lazarus to get the kill, and there it is, Lazarus with another win here in Series E.
Lazarus, 2 games, might not have been in a row, but they're definitely wins to add to your belt. A fantastic positioning there towards the end, and while it might not have been in the cart like some of us could have expected, does it matter when you're finding Kraber shots like those all game long?
Yeah, great connections, great highlight reel material at the very least, but also retaking the lead. They should be in first place. We're going to go ahead and take our halftime break, though. When we get back, we'll be swapping on over to Stormpoint. You're not going to want to miss that, so don't go anywhere, guys. We'll be right back.
Gangsters coming daily under pressure. Working on the plot and the scheme. The true side trademark is at the edge of your dreams. Yeah. One shot, now the future is yours. I'm turning dreams into reality. In the lab with the formula and chemistry. Your memories spark and motivate and make the industry shake. Put the bars in the breaks. I'm talking one chance that was so close for the go. It's one shot, now the future is yours. Go.
Excedrin. I'm fading.
One bad headache can crash your entire game.
Excedrin relieves headaches fast.
Excedrin. Game over for headaches.
It's refreshingly sweet, but without sugar, 0 calorie treat. They're all our top bars. Flavored splash.
It's fruit freshen.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Lazarus doubling down there with their second win of the night as we hit halftime, and they're going to be feeling really comfortable at the top of that Mobile One leaderboard. I do have CEO and founder of Esports Arena, Tyler Endress, in the studio with me right now as we take a peek at the player of the game from this last performance. Of course, Lazarus. Strong showing so far. They and Excedrin are the ones that have picked up the wins so far on World's Edge as we look for the swap, and a familiar face here with player of the game, GS Bird, 7 kills, 2 assists, and just short of 1,900
Who's he playing with right now?
Lazarus.
He's playing with Lazarus right now.
Yeah.
When did that happen?
He replaced Z Davis just after Pro League playoffs.
Nice.
So he's been with the team, I would say about 2 months, maybe a little over 2 months.
Well, tonight it's looking like it's paying off. That was a hell of a performance from GS Bird there.
Yeah, GS Bird looking really good. Lazarus looking really good as well. I also do want to take a peek at, we looked at kind of the overall stats for Excedrin and Razor coming into tonight, as those are two of the squads battling it out to try and jump into the top 3. And I believe we have pulled the stats for them just through the first half here. Of course, Excedrin with the win. And I just want to see kind of where these two teams stand here so far tonight. So you can see them both on the screen right now. We'll pull this full screen for you though so you can get a better look. But 19 kills for Excedrin and 12 for Razor. So fragging fairly well. Also nice start in terms of average placement. 5 average placement for Razor is very, very good. Very even in terms of the average damage. So while Excedrin has that nice little boost from 7 extra kills and a victory, Razor doing a great job and 2 top 5s to their name. So both teams solid tonight and trying to chase down teams.
Oh, I know. Like the fact, I love that you called it out ahead of time, that they are chasing for that 3rd place spot, right? So Excedrin getting that win, and like they got a lot of frags that game too, so that was really good. Razor has been fragging though. Like all 3 games, they know they need the points, and it seems like they know it too. It's the reason they are fragging. They're getting themselves in the fights. I love to see it. I see Babursky got going nuts going in there and trying to take out as many players as possible. So it's cool to see Razor doing what they're doing. I'd love to see, I mean, all guys on the leaderboard is good, but when you're in that 4th place, that 4th or 5th, and you can sniff 3rd place, you got to go for it. I mean, at this point, especially during open nights, right? That's when the pros aren't there. It's still top tier quality performers that are playing this, but you definitely got to always go for it, and I love to see that.
Every point matters, and they matter even more at this point in the season. That 110-point gap that Razor entered tonight with, they need to close that as much as possible.
We've seen it done before.
We've
seen it done before. You know, point gaps can easily be wiped. You know,
I mean,
you get a little comfortable in 3rd place, you don't show up on open night, and someone else in 4th or 5th, they leapfrog. I mean, that's has been done before.
Yeah, I mean, you look at like Season 2 Intel is like a perfect example. It's one of those teams that was in a position like Razor near the bottom of the standings. Nobody really had any expectations of them. They make that late season run. They jump in, while they didn't end up using that retained spot because they got signed by Ghost at the end of the season, they at the very least earned a return to Series E with the way they played at the end of the season. And Razor, of course, trying to do that. Of course, Tyler is here, though, to talk about more than just Series E.
That's true. Because Esports Arena, we're a production company. We run Series E, but we have our locations all throughout the country, which you just saw on the little segment right before this, but we have 18 different esports arenas located inside of Walmart stores all throughout the country. And did you see that video from this week? Oh, here it is right now. So this kid ends up winning $500 from Esports Arena in Fort Worth, Texas, okay? He's playing Halo. It's this training mode where you obviously your accuracy gets you as many points as possible, and this was the winning run right here. So this guy was fired up. We got it on camera, which was awesome. And so he's basically doing like an aim labs, right? And so for those of you that play Apex Legends and don't play any Halo at all, this week we are doing an aim labs, what we're calling player versus everyone. So this guy's doing he's walking into an esports arena, he's playing at his own leisure, and this is only, basically it's a minute. The kid wins $500 in just this 1 minute right here. And so it's pretty exhilarating.
And you're telling me that I don't have to come in, cut out 3 or 4 hours out of my day to sit down for an entire tournament. I can just come in, pay, do my run or my performance in the training or my aim labs run, and that's it. Like I can sit down for 5 or 10 minutes.
So that's exactly the case, right?
Okay.
Like running an esports tournament takes hours, right? And it's awesome. It's fun. We run Smash tournaments, we run Apex, we do Halo, all those things. They're a ton of fun. Now, the problem is not every person out there is a Halo, Smash, or Apex Legends player. Like some people just love to play Mario Kart. Well, we have time trials for Mario Kart. So people love to play like the retro games like Pac-Man and Galaga. We could run tournaments and like mini competitions for those types of games all the time at a microtransaction. It costs you like $1 to play a game. I mean, you get like 3 different tries that it takes like $1, and you can win $500 if you're atop the leaderboard. So it's not, you're not playing against anyone next to you, or it's a 1v1 matchup. It's you versus all of our esports arenas across the country. So we're calling it PvE, player versus everyone. So you now have this opportunity to win some real cash. I mean, it's a $500 payout that dude just got for that 1 minute of gameplay. So anybody can go out there and compete, anybody can enter, and when I mean anybody, I mean James Alpha Lopez is currently in our studio white trying to see what his best score could be at AIM Labs, because that is going to be our PvE tournament this weekend. So you can go out to any one of our Walmarts starting tomorrow, and you can actually compete for a $500 prize pool that goes, most of it, I mean the purse, sorry, $500 purse, I think it's like $300 or whatever, goes directly to you, just for being cracked at AIM Labs. So do we have James ready, guys? Can we see James's high score to see how well he can do at AIM Labs? And he's supposedly our best AIM Lab competitor.
That wouldn't surprise me. James is pretty good at just about every game he picks up.
So let's take a look at James. All right, James, here we go. Whew, he's ready. He's ready. Boom. Oh, damn. Looked like a hiccup right there.
I know he's always on his AIM Labs game as well.
So if you're watching this, can you beat James's score? And he hasn't had any time to warm up. Okay, he's been observing, he's been specking for us. If you can beat James's score, obviously post it. But let's just, come on guys, be fair. Don't just post like you did 100 different tries, you're posting your best score. But show us that you can beat this. And if you can beat James, then you probably have a really good shot of that $500 prize pool at any one of our locations across the country. Go to esportsarena.com. You'll see all of our locations, where they're located. For some of you, it might be worth the drive to just get that large prize pool and your name on the leaderboard. Ooh, there was a miss right there, James. Come on now. How we looking, JC?
Looking great here, James, with a good percentage here, up at 90% accuracy, less than 10 seconds left. That score over 60K as well. He's looking to finish strong here. 3, 2, 1,
Woo!
Done. So a good 68,000 score there.
Oh man, he missed it by just 403 points for the perfect 69,000 right there. Golly, James. You could have done it live on stream and we would have been epic.
So close. As Tyler mentioned, of course, you want to find those locations. You can also use exclamation point locations in Twitch chat right now. That will get you the link that you need so you can go to an esports arena location near you and compete in PvE starting tomorrow, right? Wednesday to Sunday.
It's live tomorrow, Wednesday through Sunday, that same tournament. So you can go anytime you're free. You just go at your own leisure. You don't need a whole team. You don't need a whole squad. Just walk into the store and just say, hey, is there an AIM Labs $500 PvE tournament going on? Because I want to enter. And there's multiple titles too. Like I said, we run 4 different titles a week at $500. That kid you just saw earlier before James won $500 prize pool for that 1 minute of gameplay at Halo. And I loved it, man. He was fired up.
So that's $2,000 a week.
$2,000 a week in prize.
All 4 titles that you can come out and try and grab. So you can come out, you can do your AIM Labs one.
You can play Mario Kart.
Mario Kart as well.
And just to give you a little secret sauce, like I gave everyone else last night during the Halo competition, was go there, try it once, now you know the setup, and then just like buy a couple hours at Esports Arena and play and practice and practice and practice, and then enter again, right? And then if you're at the top of the leaderboard, don't forget, someone else can leapfrog you, but you could obviously come back. There's no limit to how many tries you can have.
You got to be ready to come back on a Saturday or Sunday.
Check
that leaderboard stream.
Exactly. Sundays are becoming popular days at Esports Arena because everyone's looking at that leaderboard. So it's exciting stuff. We've been quietly introducing it, but look, for all you viewers, this is something we want you guys to see. We want you guys to know. We love the fact that you guys support us. Let us support you by going out in Esports Arena, having a good time, and winning some money, man. And winning some prizes, too, because it's a good time. It's a real good time there.
All right. We are all out of time here for halftime, but a nice little demonstration there and a good teaser as we get ready for the second half. We're going to a break right now, but when we come back, we're on to Storm Point, folks, as we close out Series E Pro.
68,597 points. I dare you to beat it. Dare you.
I'm fading.
One bad headache can crash your entire game.
Excedrin relieves headaches fast.
Excedrin, game over for headache.
Welcome back, guys, to Series E open week, or open night, excuse me, for VIZIO. And we're going to go ahead and check in with the Mobile One leaderboard real quickly before we hop it right into game number 4. Lazarus now the clear leaders, 51 points in first place. Team Excedrin, Intel, Splash, all of our partner squads basically there. And Nerf is the only one trailing behind all of our partnered squads right now. And so we can see Lazarus with those 2 wins put themselves at a fair advantage.
Yeah, absolutely. And while it is a nice advantage, it is only roughly about 17 points here. So 1 good or 2 great games could potentially take you and push you to the limit. You see them, and we're already right back into the action here. Now on Storm Point here as we make our way into game 4.
First fight already taking place for Razor. It looks like Splash might have gone into a small engagement as well, and they are consistently getting contested over here on the south side of the map right now. As you can see, Casella's going to go ahead and use that gravity lift to take height. Almost got the 1 clip. Needed the help of Prodigy Aces to get that kill onto Yazto, and it's Black Hand on the other side of this fight once again. So this 50-50 transferring over to Storm Point again.
Yeah, this is such an area of high real estate when we talk about the Storm Point map, and I'm sure we'll have plenty of discussion all throughout the rest of the night here, but the mills are so good, especially with zones like this that are going to extend out here towards the west, and that's why you don't only just see Splash, but you've also got 2 other squads also here as well, aside from Black Hand in them. My apologies.
Yeah, Splash, they're just regrouping at this point. The third party is coming in. You do have Blues, but they got to be careful, be wary of those armor swaps. It looks like multiple third parties are coming in, and certified BMers are getting punished. Prodigy Ace is getting the first knock on to lane. Shimmy dropping down onto the low, and this is such a terrible spot. Never mind, it wasn't a third party. It was just a quick swing around from Splash to retake height from them, but other squads are showing up throughout all of this as well, and you can see it's Excedrin who ended up showing up for this one, and even Nerf ends up showing up for this fight. So this is looking very similar to, I don't know, like maybe like season 0 over at Skulltown. Like there's just so many teams here.
Day 1 Storm Point ranked. We're all dropping mills. This is the best POI. That's what it feels like right now. Is you've got a little bit more of some reserved play from teams like Nerf and Excedrin who are just on the cusp of the buildings ahead here, but they themselves are just itching to potentially pick up the extra KP. There's 19 squads remaining, but already right off the board, 7 members down here.
And it looks like Splash are trying to finish off the remaining members of certified BMers, and they will, with Mini finally going down there. Casella's finding a nice nade to finish him off. Don't know if they were able to regroup as a full 3 right now. Excedrin backing away. Nerf ends up losing out 1 to Excedrin throughout all of this, and Force is just kind of out of nowhere, kind of stuck behind those bins, and Turns isn't going to have the opportunity to try and get him up. Demi will find a small moment, but the missile swarm comes in, doesn't actually tag him. We'll have a second go at this res in just a moment. I'm surprised they didn't try and melee him in to the inside of the building, but it looks like Force will get bursted off, and so enemy picks that one up. Multiple fights taking place across the map as Baited ends up finishing off Precision Gaming, and VIZIO finds a fight themselves.
Yeah, looking like they're in their own excursion here. We'll take a look at that potentially in a moment, but it's always a shame to see that Gibby go down first. Is now Intel here. They're in their own fight. Manska to fall there. They're quickly cleaning up this one. It looks like from behind they might be pressured, but they'll quickly find their own respite just south of Barometer here, which is actually right on the cusp of that second zone that we haven't had the opportunity to discuss just yet, but to no surprise is playing out towards the southwest, like what we usually do see here, especially on Stormpoint.
Yeah, important thing to note for Team Intel is that they have drastically changed their composition. Fearless going on over towards the horizon. Mooney still on that Gibraltar, and so it's going to be a big change that we needed to see out of them last week. We saw during the Pro Night that they struggled here on Storm Point without that Gibraltar. So that's a big pickup for them at the very least. We're already down to, what is that, 15 squads, 43 players remaining. I'm wondering if that's 2 duos running around, if that's just one lone rat trying to survive. And our look at the ring, it is pulling down to the southwest here. So Barometer is a great place to try and hole up right now. Team Trash, though, they're getting defensive bombardment thrown right on top of them. Nuke forced to bubble a little bit early on. It's hard to tell where this enemy squad is. You can see you do have Ratchet Rave Paul
right below them,
rolling down below them.
Yeah, just beneath them here on the inside. This is a mix. Black Hand being one of them. Goat here quickly taking towards that second door, but will be followed up, making good use of the rise here of that horizon. And continue to look for some sort of escape, but not before picking up Ratchet on the way down. Sadly, wasn't able to last much longer in the extent of that fight as they swoop in from behind and take out Decoy as well. So the defensive bombardment thrown actually on the inside of that second floor there to try to find some early damage in that fight as we once again reapproach Barometer here. VIZIO pressured, Scissors low, Phony as well. They're forced to drop, and this could be potentially it for them. Thankfully, Scissors able to find the full Bat Fury as well. They're going to extend those ordinances to give them time. I love the usage of the lift there as well.
Phony, he's already getting his door griefed. One kick onto it, and so he does back away. There's a quick reset coming out, and they'll retake height now using that zip line to get right back up on top. So a lot of time bought with the grav lift, with the nades, but it looks like that squad is going to try and chase them down. You can see they have split up or a cross angle onto them. Fury getting cracked once again. Black hole being used on just one member as they try to swing onto the other one on the other side of this elevator lift, and Scissors will end up going down. Fearless picks that one up. VIZIO in a 3v2 up against Team Intel. That grab lift used once again to try and block that door, but throughout all that, Phony was on his ones. He gets taken out, and Team Intel will clean up VIZIO easily. Only Mooney dropping down a low. Oxygen, though, in a fight again. You can see so much fighting taking place. We're already down to 13 squads as round 1 finishes closing.
On the inside of this building here, got to be fairly careful. You got Excedrin holding out the upper end. They're going to push, utilizing that dome, but were unable to find the burst that they wanted, utilizing the ordnance. So actually taking a bit of a slower look into this fight as they continue to extend more of those ordinances out. You see that Thermite defensive department is going to come down as well here. Notably protectable though on that low, did just see that black market boutique, so hopefully going to survive for an extended period of time, having that as a useful ultimate into a very tight situation here in Cenote Cave.
Yeah, he does just eat a small bit of damage, but is able to pop that bat. Is going to have to bat once more. There's a quick armor swap for him, so unfortunately, they're even though they're getting the extra utility and the heals out of that black market boutique, it is quickly getting drained, and they're getting pressured quite a bit. So you can see Excedrin trying to make their pass on in. One door covered for Kimchi Lee here, and he's going to be facing off up against that Loba. Doesn't have any throwables, unfortunately. No thermite to try and cover that door at the very least, but enemy is creating an opening here, finding a nice window peek, and there it is. Kimchi Lee going for a cheeky peek himself, forcing out 2 members to cover this door now. Enemy bubble has been used on the other side. Excedrin loses out on 1 protect, gets a double spray down, and just like that, Excedrin gets this fight turned around onto them. You can see why the utility you pick up from the Loba is so crucial. Having those extra nades, getting those nades out of the hands of your opponent as well. Oxygen utilized that extremely well. Splash find themselves in another fight here.
Another fight. Even more contest here as below. It looks like there's another squad that they're just able to sneak up behind there. That Gibraltar Dome no longer in play, and they will quickly eliminate Pyro and friends here as Splash now have to at least find their way down towards the south at some point. They got a ways to go when we talk about the zone, but they're happy to pick up the KP meanwhile.
Yeah, I mean, they're happy to have survived what happened over at Mill, essentially. And as such, they have at least 7 kill points. So this is a great game for Nestle Splash. Surviving the hell pit that was the Mill. They've made their way basically up to checkpoint, looking for more loot along the way. Getting contested, you know you have to kind of take the cursory looting path, and that's what they're doing right now. Team Nerf, though, it's turns on the Ton, Cat, Rat Cam. Not able to recover the banner of force. Demi is bleeding out currently. Round number 2 is closing, and he's on the edge of the zone. So this is a very unfortunate situation. He put in Team Intel, though, in another fight. Oxygen in a fight themselves as they've been tagged. Aiden Destroyer backing off a bit. Hubsky looking for the angle, and he's got the toesies, and he is tagging them, forcing out the bubble early on. That's going to allow Protectful and company to start moving in. The fear of a third party is forcing them back just a bit. Intel, though, in this fight, and it's a huge scramble as the defensive bombardment goes down on top of them. Fearless taking a moment to heal up. Mooney dropping down the bubble. Keep him safe for now. Slurpee G, though, is ready to establish this fight once again, getting on top of Zanabu, taking him out. And now you can see the charge rifle shots coming from across the base there as they swing on in for the rest of that Trippin' squad, taking them out. Team Intel trying to keep pace with Splash right now. Oxygen trying to make their way into this building currently, but they're stopped by that Black Market Boutique. They've gotten the knock onto 2 members of YFP. There's only 1 left. There it is. YFP getting pushed off. Oxygen picking up the +3.
I was about to say, that's hilarious. YFP taking advantage of the second floor. They're trying to play around what is Protectful's own Black Market, even utilizing it in the heat of the moment there. Sadly, couldn't quite cover it, but one of the few weaknesses I've ever seen exploited from that Loba, but still, time and time again, we reapproach Oxygen here on Storm Point going into Game 4, and they make great use not only of this, but the general control of Cenote Cave. And I don't want to put it all into the backpack of that Loba there, but it's got to be doing work, especially given that it's probably the only one in this lobby, which makes it all that stronger.
Yeah, we always go back to this old adage, if you're one of the few legends on the field being used, you're the team that has it. That's so much stronger. The more that legend is used, the overall power level that goes down. We see it with Gibraltar, right? Gibraltar counters Gibraltar. Yes. We all know that as well. So right now, Oxygen really being able to see that, seeing that VIZIO is no longer playing that composition. They're notified of that, and they use that extremely well. Team Beta, though, in a fight right now. Quick bubble res, along with a golden bag, will get Johnny right back into things. As the defensive bombardment and the grab lift was utilized on top of them. They're just going to try and back away, but Team Intel will give chase for the time being. They got the re-knock onto Linkseed, and now it's the 3v2. Team Intel charging forward, but they have to be careful. They're getting shot at from multiple angles. They'll have no issue finishing off Baited. Still have to worry about the teams firing away from across over at Cenote Cave, it looks like. And they are safe for now, and so they'll be able to loot up. They've picked up at least 7 kill points. You can see 5 assists for Slurpee G, so this could be maybe even a 9-kill game for Team Intel currently.
Jeez, absolute perfection, especially with the aggression we've seen. You talk about these last few weeks, how they've set the tone here, and I'm very interested because it reflects in their choice of how they design this roster, especially without utilizing, say, something like that Valkyrie. And to me, you know, that goes to show, I mean, lots of teams love playing for those early positions when it comes to Storm Point and taking advantage of really getting into that zone, especially with the redeploy here. Intel, you've got to take it face value, fight for fight, toe for toe, every 3v3 you come across, and the combination that you get to utilize not only with the verticality with this Horizon, but also the usage of that black hole is great for bolstering themselves in what is now becoming this identity.
Now they're looking at the cave that I believe, was it Splash that was playing off of? No, not Splash. There was another team that was inside of there, but they are eyeing the blast doors right now. They don't have to commit to it. There's still plenty of area they can rotate around from the south side if they want to avoid this and maybe just wrap around there and play off of slow side of zone. Most teams are rotating in from the north right now. And I say most teams, but we're already down to 9 squads, 23 players. That's 4 players that are currently missing out of the lobby. So that could be 4 squads that, or no, we know that there's still 1 ret, I believe. And so that leaves room for maybe 2 squads running around as a duo or 1 more rat running around.
Let's go to this quadrant.
I know for a fact Kimchi Lee is hoisted up alone in a building there in Cenote Cave, as we just saw it a moment ago. As hey, you can even see it there, 257 meters away. As now we take a look back towards Splash, who we were just addressing a second ago. Not quite inside the cave, but definitely playing within this area, trying to fight their way inside this building here. Have to be fairly careful. Hopefully it's not the one that Protectful and friends currently hold from Oxygen, but getting this high ground, great for covering this door. They just gotta be careful with their backside.
Oh no, he tried to open that door, but it was blocked off. Casello's dropping down, and it's going to be Dreza peeking out to take out Oi Senpai. So it's Razor on the other side of this fight. You see Prodigy Ace is still trying to buy some time to heal up, but Razor have so much HP behind this fight. That's going to be Splash taken out in top 8. Unfortunately, it was a great start, but this fight just did not work out in their favor. Razor will be picking up all their loot as well. Bearing Live getting poked at. He's got to be careful as he wants some of this loot. It looks like it was Team Intel looking to come in for the third party. A defensive bombardment is going to force them back at the very least. And again, Team Intel, it's smart aggression that comes out from them. They'll just wait out this time. They're not going to utilize any of their cooldowns. If they could just back away instead. They do spot out one. Great spray down, but it's a red Evo shield they have to get through. And Slurpee G will not be able to finish them off. And we do have Kimchi Lee going down. So that's 2 of our rets. The other one was Nerf's Dimmy, who got taken out just a few minutes ago as well. So it's all just 6 full squads remaining here.
Now, all 6. We see Intel in the same location that Splash was just playing for a moment ago. I don't know where they have particularly ended up in return to this one, as we've got the other side, Fearless, hoisted on the front end, as actually I believe might be inside this building, as yeah, they're taking advantage of Casella's items, utilizing a bit of the bubble before they work their way in. Like that.
And we're just playing looting simulator at this point. I mean, this is looking more like Tarkov or something. There's so much loot to pick up. So much fighting took place inside of that building. You can see why that was the God spot. Round number 4, closing in on it right now. And having position in one of those buildings will be extremely important. Right now, though, on board with our lobby leaders, Lazarus haven't found too much action, but surprisingly enough, Bank has 800 damage, almost 900, utilized basically all of the ammo on this G7 Scout. It does look like he picked it up out of that black market boutique. That Bird is able to put down for his squad on that Loba. So yeah, we get our second appearance of a Loba here on Stormpoint. So not as many squads as we've seen in the past play it here, but we do still have that presence. And now take a look at this ring, Ben. It's pulling away from the building that we saw Team Intel playing off of. And so it's one of the few buildings that are remaining in round number 6.
Right, Oxygen, Intel, all these squads, the one inside cave right now, all going to be forced to make a rotation out. There still is a cusp of that building right there on the edge, the one that's just being pinged out here from Lazarus, but I don't know if that's exactly where a squad might want to play. I believe there's a little bit of high ground control out here towards the west of Cenote Cave that you could potentially take advantage of. Granted, you are relying that these other teams proven their rotation are distracted, and that ends with each other before taking it up against you, because it's not the best situation to put yourself in, albeit the zone ending there.
Yeah, if they have the vertical clearance, they might just go for a Valkyrie deploy. There's 3-4 squads in their way on this rotate. This is almost a death sentence for them, and so you can see them looking up just to see if they do have the clearance to go for that Valk rotate. Play a little OOB for now. Slurpee G, though, in the thick of things, that the grab lift along with that black hole being used is inside of an enemy level, and they have to push in, and they do. Cracked, getting taken out. Mooney picking that one up. Team Intel finally finding the fight that they've been looking for. The first 3 games of the day were looking quite difficult, but here it is. Team Intel looking more and more comfortable on Storm Point. They have at least 13 kills in this game. There's still 12 players for them to try and take down here in our final ring.
And now they are the one of the few teams that actually hold this zone here, and they have the opportunity to play up onto the high end here with the usage of Fearless. They got to be careful. You can already see some other squads taking their own high ground in return, so they're going to opt to play for these pillars, hoping that, especially with this building right out here towards the west, you see most of this action take place, which we're getting a taste of that now with Razor pressured up against the wall.
Yeah, they do have cover, though, so they can just go ahead and reset here. Bursey's probably just waiting for some heals to be tossed down over towards him. Or no, he just had no heals. Okay, so find some crucial syringes left on the ground for him to top off to full. Now they're just regrouped down here. The ring, unfortunately for them, they're going to be one of the first teams forced out of cover. They've got another squad, it looks like, above them as well. But the only thing really working out for them is that no team can really peek them. You can see there's so many headshot angles, so many high ground spots to be able to play off of, but they are being contested. Team Intel pinging a squad just to their north, the team that's fighting them for the ultimate high ground in this fight, in this final zone.
We'll have to see who that might be. It looks like the other end is contested with Lazarus. They're a little bit split, holding both angles here. Granted, that high ground will no longer be in play fairly soon, especially with the zone beginning to close and pull them forward. They've got a squad just ahead of them as well, and I gotta tell you, I mean, Intel looks to be in a fantastic position compared to anyone else right now.
Yeah, Lazarus having to deal with CAA below them. Razor making their move. They got Oxygen right behind, but Oxygen looks like they might have been knocked out or might be down to their last player. Aiden the Destroyer trying his best to survive. Slurpee ends up picking one of those kills onto Oxygen. Still lays in the hands of Slurpee G, but he's cracked and is forced back. He will be able to retake height with that Valkyrie passive. Early bubble out from Mooney, though, which is a little bit surprising here, but you can see Fearless and Slurpee G. They've got ultimate height control and through that. He's able to kill onto Vizzy. And it looks like Intel might be one of the few teams that are still up as a full 3. Quick bubble res out from Lazarus to try and get them topped off, but the defensive bombardment coming down for Fearing Live is able to get the knock onto Dank, so Razor helping out throughout all of this, but Fearless is starting to pick apart the rest of the lobby. Razor, they're about to lose out on their bubble. Fearless needs to back away with that grav lift, and that allows Mooney to finish off Lazarus here on the low ground. Razor trying to survive underneath this little bit of cover because they do not have a bubble, and the defensive bombardment is putting in so much work. Can Razor at least survive past CAA? It doesn't look like it, as Razor are trying to force the issue. Cobra gets a knock onto Slurpee G, and Intel have to refocus now onto CAA. The black hole getting the rest of the members backed up into a corner here. Big PK shots out from Intel, try and finish things off, and Team Intel bounce back here in the second half to take a monstrous win in game number 4.
Just an absurd amount of kills picked up there from Intel. I mean, prior to some of those final zones, you were saying it was 9 going into round 4 in the extended future there. With those 4 teams falling, I'm really curious to see how monstrous this game actually shaped out to be.
Yeah, Lazarus were the lobby leaders with 17 points, but I feel like Intel alone, just off of kill points, closed that gap. And of course, you put that plus 12 on top. Ooh, boy, I am looking forward to the Mobile 1 leaderboard. We're gonna have to take a break, though, before we check in with that. When we get back, we'll have game number 5 of Series E right after this.
Intel with their turn at the top, taking the win here in our first match on Stormpoint, and a dominant performance from the team. As we take a look at player of the game for this one, I want to let everybody know Intel had 25 kills this game. You can see it on the screen there. Fearless does grab player of the game honors with 10 kills, 7 assists, and over 3,200 damage, but the entire squad was fragging out on this one. Mooney also could have vied for player of the game, had 10 kills himself, but the team popping off here, and they'd been pretty quiet overall through the first half. Of course, they didn't win any games and had not really been consistently getting into the top 5, but a big showing to kick off the second half here on Stormpoint, and Intel pushed themselves right into the conversation here with just 2 games remaining. So well played from Fearless and the entire squad. And this kind of perfectly leads me into what I wanted to talk about after this, and this is, of course, the ALGS Pro League, which just started this past weekend. And, of course, Intel was competing in Pro League. They're playing under the team name GeForce, but while they may have had a pop-off here in Game 4, they weren't able to quite do it this past weekend. GeForce only put up 12 points, finished in the bottom of the standings in their competition on Saturday between groups B and C. Looking at the rest of the Series E talent that competed this weekend, Nerf as Team LMK had 17 points. They finished 17th on Saturday, and W with an uncharacteristically rough performance, just 13 points for them. They finished 18th. Those are the 3 teams that competed Saturday. When we had groups A and D face off on Sunday, CLX had the best performance of the weekend. That is a team that Cruisin plays on, along with former Series E player Mr. Haculo. They had 36 points to get inside the top 10 for 9th place on Sunday's competition. And then Buff Pathfinder, which is Dresav and Bursty, along with Kimchi Lee, they had 20 points to finish in 16th. So good representation from the Series E players, but not quite the weekend we were hoping for out of all of those players, despite CLX having a pretty solid showing. Right now, we are going to go to a quick break here as VIZIO week continues. Again, make sure to go over and grab a brand new VIZIO TV like this gorgeous one behind me over at walmart.com/esports arena. But let's hit that break so that when we come back, we can look at game number 5.
All right, welcome back to Series E here in the second half. Well, the first game on Stormpoint, Team Intel absolutely blew everyone out of the water. At least 17 kill points for them, but I'm sure that they picked up more than that. So let's check in with the Mobile One leaderboard to see who stands up top. Team Intel with 1 win under the belt will go ahead and take that first place spot. Huge bounce up. So now it's looking like it's almost a 2-horse race between Team Intel and Lazarus, but man, they still have to worry about Excedrin, Razor, and Splash right behind them.
Yeah, not too far behind, especially if they're putting up numbers like Intel, a 37-point game for themselves coming out of the 4th there. And I know we can give them high praise on that one, but like you said, Lazarus, they extended far into that game as well, picking up their own source of kills into the final moments there. And while they weren't the ones to pick up the win, they're not too far behind either.
Yeah, we have 2 games left to go, so it's still anyone's game. We can't really count them out yet. Maybe we'll have a better look, at the leaderboard. Maybe Team Intel and Lazarus pull away a little bit more, but let's check in with the Mobile One high performance moment, and it's just the immaculate ending coming out from Team Intel. We talked about how good their position was to just finish this game off strong.
Right, they take out Lazarus here fairly quickly, and they've got ahead of them CIA and Razor both to deal with, but in lickety-split. No time at all. CAA never pulling the trigger there, having no cover to work with. They take advantage of that and wipe the entirety of Razor before the fight can even begin. And then once it does become this 2v2 situation, they're primed and ready.
And ultimately, it was just really good patience coming out from Intel. You saw that delayed defensive bombardment coming down, which is save for that one small little rock for Razor to play off of. That should have just been the triple kill for them. That was probably the only point where it gave you a little bit of pause for Team Intel, where you looked a little bit worrisome because they did kind of split there in their attention in taking down squads. One player focused on CAA, while 2 players were trying to focus down Razor. That was probably the only big mistake that they made in this late game fight, but they still ended up with the win. Overall, everything else was supremely clean with how they finished off this game.
Yeah, not even just that. We talk about the finish here between these 3 squads. Intel overall, the way they approached their rotation into zone, not having the opportunity to play around something like that Valk, taking it toe-to-toe against squad after squad after squad. And something that you brought up that I really, really like, the aggression, the choice, that pace that they put to it. They don't just go, full send all the time. They approach things with a little bit more tact and realize when and how they should really utilize those cooldowns before aggressing upon anyone in the area.
Here we go, heading into game number 5. Let's join on board with our winners from game 4, Team Intel, to see how they did it. And honestly, it's just always a treat to watch them. I like that they finally did make this swap off here for Stormpoint. I mean, it was definitely something that they needed to learn on Pro Nights. It was a hard learned lesson on Pro Night themselves, but I think seeing teams like Esports Arena utilizing a composition like this fairly well, the strength of Horizon and team fights, and honestly almost all stages of the game really does show. But right now it's Team Asuras in the middle of a fight. Mixta on the Valkyrie, trying his best to juke them, but it's not going to be enough. Cracked Bear gets that first knock, and now Asuras are fighting into a 3v2.
I like the teams provided, though, with that L-Star. They're going to break down that door. Nifty aims in their own struggle, actually getting the full shield back up. White there may have found it, may have had to use the battery. Either way, Asura's on a drop here. OTV, OBH, my man here, trying to find some semblance of a weapon to use, and with the short time period he has, he does find the Senti shot to knock one, but with that dome coming down, you know the revive is only moments away here. Nifty, you gotta get your teammate up.
Yeah, this is really unfortunate. It just came down to just bad, I would say, loot pathing when it comes to the 50-50. You have to know how to loot when it comes to the 50-50s. You need to quickly get double weapons under your belt. But you saw one player, he had the L-Star, no ammo behind it, found a Mozambique on the way out. And as well as Gibraltar, just had nothing in the tank. Finding a Sentinel. Well, now is the gun to use for his last stand, which isn't quite what you want. Still got a knock at the very least. There's the thirst onto Nifty. So Asura is now left to rat this one out, and we'll see Twisted Sins how far they'll chase after this one. They are on the edge of the zone down here at Antenna. It's looking like this one's probably pulling maybe towards the center of the map, maybe towards Cascade Falls. We'll take a moment in just in a little bit to check in with the ring to see where this falls. Black Hand in a fight. Doesn't look like it's going to be Nestle Splash this time around, as they changed up their drop spot.
It's a different spot, yeah. The POI has changed for this squad, and they've got double angles here. Decoy on the backside. You see that dome already extended. Double cracks found here. Goat trying to come through quickly to get his own return. They're playing around that line there. That's going to be a full send. But the ordinance is now. Black Hand takes to the sky here. Potentially to look for the revive. No, to defend against the onslaught that is the Skibby. Trying to find that full thirst up as the rest of the team has arrived. Razor picking up the full wipe there.
Yeah, it was a 3-team affair as one other squad ended up showing up. Yeah, you saw the Mad Maggie ultimate being tossed down into that Razor, not playing the Mad Maggie themselves. So, yeah, another team ended up showing up. And taking a look at the ring, never mind, this is going to be a barometer pull down for this ring. And so we're having another quite central ring pull, but this one definitely should be ending on that barometer side. Maybe it ends up pulling a little bit towards where VIZIO are playing, but it looks like every other squad are starting to put their investments, time investments into barometer proper.
Right, and one of the better areas, especially if you're going to go for playing that central zone, especially if you want to take advantage of some of the dispersed kind of high ground that does present itself on barometer, whether you go for the center or that major tower with the beacon available that I know for a fact we're going to see a squad on top of for quite some time. And while they may not pick up the case, they definitely will have the information towards their advantage. I like the choke though, right south of Jurassic Park. That's that building right on the edge of that gated wall there. Also having the beacon available can be potentially good if you want to dispose of any team that plays out behind you. Got to be careful though. There's double entrances on both sides of that POI, so it can be fairly dangerous.
Team Intel actually poking away at Lazarus right now. It looks like another squad might be showing up as well. CAA looking to pinch Lazarus at this point. Couldn't tell if there was a knock. It looked like there might have been, and Intel are pushing in. Let's go ahead and join on board with Intel if we can for this fight, because that's an important race. Lazarus versus Intel. Ooh, Vize gets a knock onto Fearless, and he is in the middle of nowhere. Mooney needs a bubble to get him back up. You can see he is just on the other side of that bridge. Great shots coming out from Slurpee, and he answers back, taking out Vize. The bubble's a little bit short, but they still should be able to get that res. Slurpee's going to cover that high ground angle, and it looks like Lazarus might get knocked out earlier than they imagined. They're inside the dropships currently. Excuse me. Yeah, that happens. And so Intel, can they knock out their, their secondary competitors here in Lazarus?
Looks like there might not just be Lazarus on this fight as well. Intel now taking it straight towards the dome. Slurpee putting down work with the wingman. Will fall there as Fearless is now left alone to defend at the entrance of this door. Has to play into the dome here. The teammate utilizing that shield will still find the knock available. Quick Fearless to try to find a battery as a dome comes out as well. That's going to be potentially the golden rebuy, but he doesn't have the time. He's still trying to make this one work as VIZIO now enters the fight.
It's a gold bag res though, which is going to help out immensely for Intel. Did they hear the grav lift being used to try and get that high ground? It looks like they have. Defensive bombardment goes down as Scissors tries to entry in with that thermite, but the black hole will go ahead and slow down this push long enough. Team Intel weather the storm. They're going to get the reset. How determined are VIZIO in trying to knock them out? Lazarus has been eliminated. That leaves the middle of the pack primed and ready to try and take away that second place position, especially if VIZIO can knock out Team Intel here.
Yeah, they've still got one member right underneath the bottom of that dome there. Wasn't able, or no, my apologies, all three members. Thought I saw them go for a little bit more of an extended escape. Still, though, Phony trying to find an angle here with the utilization of that Peacekeeper. Just a small breakaway. There's the horizon low. That's that black hole, though, once again to dissuade the pressure. Dome down as well from below to give them the opportunity to heal back up. And right above them, though, Slurpee, G, what are you doing here?
Great call from VIZIO as they instantly turned all three members to retake height as Slurpee was trying to find that angle. But they're getting naded from a third party right now. Plenty of nades being tossed in as this might actually buy time for them to actually back away. Team Intel, that is. That's Excedrin that was trying to come in for the third party, but VIZIO, you got all eyes on them right now as the bubble has been used. Kimchi Lee trying to go for that res, but oh no, Kimchi Lee turns around on the Fury, gets that knock. Scissors in with the PK, gets one knock, but it's traded back. It's a 1v1 now. Team Intel,
Phony up,
opportunity to try and fight back into this as Kimchi Lee gets thirsted off. Phony big with a big 102 on that 301 spray. He's got the PK out now, looking to finish things off. Gets a big tag with the 82, and he finishes off cruising. VIZIO survives that push out from Excedrin, and I think this bought enough time for Team Intel to just back away, pick up the banner. Now here comes the rest. Team Intel did pick up the banner of Slurpee G, and they're going to look to go for that res on the southeast side. They're getting shot from behind, though, so Mooney's not out of it quite yet. He's already used his bubble, so he's going to have to use this rock now to heal up. A great shot coming in from Jay Fearless as he's keeping VIZIO at bay, buying more and more time for Intel to back away and come back as a full 3.
Oh my gosh, hopefully they've got something like a mobile respawn to work with, because I'm not sure it's going to be that clean. Even still, though, Mooney's going to go for it here. Pray there's no squad a click away, potentially even, north here at Antenna. Could definitely get hairy. Thankfully, though, Fearless covering just all angles, making the full 360 rotation as, thankfully, Slurpee will be coming in there.
I think there was a thirst on the VIZIO side as well, so VIZIO need to not chase and actually go for the respawn themselves. Team Intel, they've got a team underneath them right now, and so this is looking a little bit dicey as they try to back away, but a lot of squads showing up to Antenna right now. Fearless has been able to do a great job, great effort with this wingman of keeping teams at bay by himself. With that respawn ship coming in, though, you have to imagine that these teams really want to try and take out Team Intel.
Come on in. Got that white shield. See if they can maybe find their way back down. Hopefully VIZIO and the like aren't too defensive of that area. Redeploy coming out there. Oh, if they're going for the aggressive move right in front of them, potentially to gatekeep this position, prevent them from playing zone. They, though, don't know the squads that do hoist themselves upon that bridge. Maybe not the best rotation there.
Looks like every player was respawned back into the game, so it's all going to be 12 full squads remaining here as Team Intel going to try and get back their loot, at least find something for Slurpee G to play off of. There are plenty of loot boxes over here at this dropship, but getting it, that's the bigger issue. That's the challenge for Team Intel. Maybe they try to just wrap around to the eastern side, go north, and try to find some cursory loot throughout all of that.
Interesting. I'm very interested to see what that thing might be about, but it looks like they could just use rotating out through this cave here. Already, they are pushed back. They've got a squad sitting right ahead of them here, so back up against the wall. They've got to make a decision here. That redeploy still 50% away. Might have to go for even further extended here. Thankfully, hopefully, the spiders here might give them the opportunity to put Slurpee in a better spot, but I mean, I don't know what other alternatives that present themselves here for Intel.
I mean, he does have the Wingman P2020, which the P2020 is definitely not something you want to take into the late game, but having the Wingman is great. Unfortunately for him, it looks like all 3 members are on heavy ammo, and so that's going to be in short supply overall. Slurpee G getting tagged big here, forced back once again. As he's still getting tagged, it looks like his R301 shots ringing across the bow there. And so Team Intel in a pretty rough spot. I think their best option here is just to kind of give up on trying to slide down here, and that's exactly what they're going to do. They're going to back away towards Antenna and hope that they can find some cursory loot throughout this. They should be able to find remnants of something at the very least. At least some heavy ammo for this wingman. I'll even pick up that Sentinel as a secondary because, again, the P2020 just offers really nothing in the late game. And right now, they're just going to back away. They have the time to do it. This is just ring number 2 closing. They have plenty of time left in this game to get him back into it.
All right, plenty of space to work with, especially if they want to maybe potentially redeploy once they do find that ultimate and find a better position. Though, we do begin to look at some of these other teams trash just west of Jurassic Park here, trying to gatekeep in a certain fashion to those teams that were a bit further north. You can see where that redeploy found its way out even further outside this unnamed POI. Pyro trying to pick up some kind of angle. They are able to spot out that it is that building. Now, this will prevent them from making the cleanest of rotations through this gap, but they have so many other opportunities, especially if they continue to control the major area that is Jurassic Park to go another direction. So, you know, pepper them with some damage. If you get the knock, if you get the break, make it work. But woo, from behind, they weren't completely in control, James.
Yeah, they do have the cross angle set up though, and this team doesn't want to try and challenge out of one blast doorway here. They get turned around on. Great shots with that wingman coming out from Pyro here, and almost getting cracks. They wanted to push up against this squad and chase them down. This might be maybe even Team Intel rotating hard north up into them. Currently, as Pyro gets tagged, and he's forced back, he's gonna have to bat up. Looks like he's got a Phoenix kit in the back pocket to utilize as well. So we'll find out in just a moment who is on the other side of this one. Fearless has gone down to Baited's Johnny. And oh no, this might spell the defeat for Team Intel. We'll see how they can recover off of this one. Team Trash, though, maintain this position on the high ground. And it is Baited coming in here. Mooney, the next one to fall, leaving only Surfing G, who is the one struggling for loot. Team Intel and Lazarus are now knocked out. That's going to be huge for all of our middle of the pack teams right now. The teams that found themselves in what, a 17, 20 point deficit to these squads to try and catch up in game number 5.
Cedrin, Razor, Splash, VIZIO, Nerf, all of our partner teams now having the opportunity to push their way into the top 2 here. Back to Baited. They themselves trying to find their own angles as they rotate into Antenna and quickly through with the Ash. Johnny eliminated almost immediately there. The pressure from Kizev with that Mastiff. Now with this dome only seconds away from being down, they don't have much a chance to rotate out here. Great shade stop. They're just trying to find where they might have ended up, and then eventually they do so. A big split there will force Lacey to down as YFP. They're more than healthy to take that fight.
Yeah, and imagine if Intel had made that move to go up to Antenna a little bit earlier, might not have got caught out. Here's YFP having to use that Valkyrie redeploy, that Skyward dive to get across this mountain now, knowing that they're going to get gate kept to the north. This is the best choice for them, but they do take a lot of ring damage. So as soon as they land, they're going to have to bubble if too many teams are around them. But right now, it looks like it's all skies clear for them as they get a free rotate into Barometer.
They're going to play right inside this building here. It doesn't look like there's anyone to prevent them, especially given how close it is to the upper angle of that tower as well as Dickinson. So a little bit surprising, but they're definitely happy about it. Looking towards Oxygen, our winners here out of what was, I believe, week... let me figure it out. Week 10 open. Haven't seen the best of performances out of them, currently sitting in 11th. Try as they will here.
Nerf trying to survive. We did have a black hole being tossed down above them, and so no value really gained from that one, but they are getting naded out. It looks like they will be able to survive inside of this stairwell for now. They've got the provided cover as well of those gas canisters currently keeping them alive. They are just on the edge of this next zone, and it doesn't look like this stairwell is in, so they have to make an excursion further into this ring pulling to the north side of Barometer right now. Plenty of buildings to play off of, but you have to imagine that those are currently controlled right now. You can see one team right there.
Yep. Might have to take the fight if they, want to make use of that here. The choice of running with turns on this Caustic, definitely a questionable one that might come into effective play here, though, as this third party will transpire. They're going to make fast rotation. They want to take advantage of this, especially with the building being up for grabs. Twisted Sin, the squad inside, able to find the full 3-man bats off, but not before continued damage is found here from their aggressor.
That's going to be Jet coming in, getting one knock on to Persuasive. Cracked is still trying to heal up, but he actually pulls off of that med kit to fight, and that might spell his demise, and it will be Oxygen coming in, cleaning up the rest of this fight. The third party on top of them. As he has to turn around. Oh boy, there's an Lucas, or I really don't know how to pronounce that name. Lux, we'll go with that. Ends up going down. Oxygen needs the reset, but they haven't found the time quite yet to hit the bats, hit the med kits. Aiden is still holding the angles now, but as Kupski hits that med kit, it looks like they will be ready to turn around onto this fight if they need to, but they're going to slow down just a bit. They've got a team underneath them. And for now, it's all about maintaining control over this building. Round number 4, round number 5, they should be fine. We'll see if this ring ends up pulling away from this building, or if it lands right on top. They'll be happy to take this 50-50 because and it should be a free rotate for them overall. Nice red armor swap there for Protectful. We'll see if the Black Market Boutique might actually come in here in the late game.
Potentially, I hope that squad underneath them is Razor there. We don't quite see any Caustic, which might go to Spell. That potentially turns with drop down in the midst of all that action. But hey, Oxygen making good work with that Loba. Once again, we've already discussed it coming out of Game 4. And while they weren't the ones to find the victory in our first Storm Point match of the night, they definitely made good use of the Legend pick there. VIZIO, though, on the outskirts. Not quite the team underneath, but definitely one within the area, and they're looking more than healthy, even after what was their extended trade out towards the west on that bridge there.
Yeah, the only troubling issue now for all the rest of the squads left in this lobby is that the Black Market Boutique is effectively starving them all out. You saw that for that Oxygen squad, they ended up picking up so many bats. There was 4 in the hands of 1, and so you are running out of meds. You got to be careful on how you peak here. Despite having 2 full stacks of cells here for Phony, you can quickly lose that. I mean, 5 of it would have to go to your shields. You'd only be left with 3 there for Phony if he takes crucial damage. Throwing down a zipline for whatever reason, I guess. I mean, I feel like this Ultimate Excel could, go to better use.
Yeah,
but,
it works.
Hey, he's gonna go ahead and toss that down. The super jump at the very least will provide useful maybe if they need to retake height quickly. But I don't know. Pathfinder, I as much as I love my boy Pathfinder, his utility is still just not the same anymore.
It's questionable. I mean, there's many other legends that provide the same, instance of rotation, mobility, that path, it almost feels a little selfish going for a pick like that. But I will say, it worked for Phony earlier when we saw him go for the re-engage on the bridge, utilizing what was that tack. And now, YFP be looking for somewhere to go. This is that redeploy. Oh my gosh, Real just barely alive. They go for the immediate split there the minute they land. Not even the minute they land. In the skies, already eliminated there. Fury from VIZIO.
Just unfortunate for YFP. They were stuck there on the low. The only option was to use that. But you can see how disciplined teams are in shooting down that center man, that Valkyrie, throughout all of this. But YFP do have this small corner to play off of, but they are on the edge of the zone, the final slow zone. And it looks like one player might be keeping tabs of them currently. As you can see, 6 squads remaining. Swing out might give them some more room to play off of here, but this is still a dicey spot for them to play off of, especially not having the best of loadouts. A charge rifle and Mastiff into the late game. The Mastiff definitely going to prove useful, but that charge rifle is going to be very difficult, especially when you're running that 4.8 onto it.
Oh no.
Might have to just drop it down very shortly.
Yeah, already try to switch it out for something that can extend into more of those short range engages there. The problem now about this rotation out the right, as you've already seen, is they've been spotted. Meanwhile, looks like Protectful taking advantage of that Loba, finding that Kraber, and also finding the knock necessary there. Granted, no follow through. They're not going to be giving up this building anytime soon, but that kind of damage, that kind of pressure, that prevents squads like VIZIO from making any kind of moves long-term, baby. Woo!
Yeah, Scissors will get rezzed into this, but again, it's about that starving effect that the Loba has, right? She's been picking up all the ground loot, all the heals from around, and so those are valuable bats, valuable cells and med kits that they're no longer going to have, or at least it's getting slowly bled out from them. Dimmy finding them knock on the Kiziv, and it looks like the rest of YFP might fall down shortly as Nerf looking to finish off that last member of YFP. Kraber shot just a little bit short there, unfortunately for Protectful, but again, Fury
not that one!
Fury, you know better than that. You're the one that usually Kraber's other people. You know there's one in play. Oh boy, VIZIO
Oh,
should be able to get onto him again, but we're talking about that bleed out effect. But now Oxygen, they're getting full sense on that no scope, not connecting for Protectable here, as that bubble is proving very useful on the other side. Aiden goes down. That's gonna be Pyro picking up a second one with the Thermite. Now Kubsky's the only one alive, but not for long. Ratchet Rave Paul will pick up that last kill, but Team Trash lose out on Pyro throughout all of this. A defensive bombardment right on top of their heads. That's the one that takes out Paul, and Nuke Team finds a small corner to try and play off of with those knockdown shields. Nerf still up as a full 3. VIZIO were able to get back up as well, as Force uses that bubble early to poke on out. They get challenged. They should be able to take him out in
they're going up.
a moment. They're trying to go up, but you can see Force is just playing off the edge right now. The zone closing in on him. Massive battle between the Gibraltar. He wins out, takes out Nuke Team. Icy River is the next one to fall, and it's going to be Team Nerf to take the win here in game number 5. And what a valuable one as well, with Lazarus and Team Intel both going down early. This might be Nerf now pushing into the top 2, maybe even taking away the top 1 position.
Right, sitting 7th place prior to this match. This could be enough to at least give them a fighting chance there. I am interested though, with VIZIO being in play as long as they were and taking successful fights in the early game, whether or how those points match up for themselves, given that they also were hunting.
Yeah, so with a hugely consequential game number 6 is going to be massive. I mean, that's the winner of that one should be walking away with the win if it's one of our top 4 teams. Let's go ahead and take a break. When we get back, we'll have the final game of the day after this.
Holy smokes, I'm late for Series E. It's Series E o'clock. So we have this VIZIO area over here. It's VIZIO week too. So I figured I would show you guys a little highlight of just how awesome this P-Series Quantum 75-inch TV is. This is the Marote. Turn the power button on. This thing is lightning fast. It's one of the best smart TVs I've ever encountered with. This is the UI. It's that simple. All your apps, everything you possibly could need, all right here. It's literally the easiest smart TV that I've ever had to work with. I just opened up YouTube. So we're gonna go to Series E. It's so fast. This is insane how fast this is. Look at this. Boom! When was the last time you went home and you turned your TV on and it was that fast and that smart? Thanks, VIZIO. It's VIZIO week, Series E. Tune in.
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Nerf or nothing there in game number 5 as Team Nerf grabs the win. We've talked a lot about Excedrin and Razor trying to jump into the top 3 tonight, but of course, Nerf is the team trying to stave off that push, and this win will certainly help out with that effort. Well played as they grab the victory. Let's check out our player of the game here for game number 5, and it's going to go to Force. 3 kills and an assist and just a little less than 1,000 damage. So not as big of a pop-off performance here from Nerf as we've seen from other teams tonight. Of course, they're following up a Team Intel game where they killed 25 players. So that's a difficult act to follow up here. But Nerf, at the very least, with a win under their belt in the final 2 games and feeling good, looking again to keep those points on the table, because, you know, we checked the overall cumulative leaderboard earlier on in the day, and Excedrin had closed that gap to just 4 points. So Nerf still with a lot of work to do, but going to feel good with that victory under their belt. Do want to remind you guys again, of course, it is VIZIO week. If you couldn't tell, maybe the tablecloth and the TV here behind me let you know, but there it is, a nice look at the VIZIO table there. But again, we want you guys to support our friends at VIZIO just the way they have supported us, and they're going to give you some great products in return. If you want to take your gaming to the next level, go pick up a brand new VIZIO 4K smart TV over at walmart.com/esports arena. And of course, another big thank you to VIZIO. They've been big supporters of us here at Esports Arena. And of course, Team VIZIO been one of those big teams to keep an eye on all throughout this season, and it will continue tonight. One more game on the docket as we close out open night here. We're going to a quick break, but when we come back, we'll be ready for the final one of the day.
Hey, what's up? It's Scissors.
Yo, what's up? It's Phony.
Hey, what's up? My name is Fury.
I play Apex Legends for Team VIZIO.
For Team VIZIO.
And you're watching
VIZIO Week.
VIZIO Week.
VIZIO, bring every world to life.
Look, he gets a shield swap, and now they're going to be comfy coming up on that hill.
Excedrin just get taken down. TSM, the third party, available to VIZIO now. As TSM actually end up going out, Intel have taken them down, and VIZIO, they have the opportunity
to secure 2 more kill points for themselves. That means VIZIO understand this is their win. They charge once to try and get that kill so badly. VIZIO making the push onto 100 Thieves right now, and just like that, their base is broken. That's right, I said their base. That's the strength of this high mobility composition. They just get right on top of you, and now VIZIO, they let victory just escape their grasps in game number 4, but this is now their chance. It all comes down to this huge shakeup in game number 5 as Lazarus and Team Intel both went down early on. So let's check in with the Mobile One leaderboard now to set the stakes for our final game of the day. It was Team Intel who were in the lead, and they still are. And Lazarus maintained that second place position, but Razor have been able to cut down that lead along with Nerf. Now, it's still going to be difficult. Razor need a 20-plus game, and they need to knock out, or need someone else to knock out Intel early if they want to take away this victory. This is going to be a huge race to the finish in our final game of the day.
I will await with a bated breath here, especially given, Lazarus, they may be close, but a team like Razor, they need almost 20 points plus more here if they want to take something like first position away, which that in itself would be an incredible game, not just a win, but plenty of kills and squad wipes to boot.
And I would say overall, if you take a look at the top 7, that's all 6 of our partnered squads as well. So pretty good open night for our partnered squads. But let's check in with that Mobile One high performance moment here. And this was just such a huge scramble. We had VIZIO, Intel, Excedrin all showing up for this fight. This is the moment that allowed Intel to actually back away to try to go for that res. VIZIO, huge clutch up from Phony here to keep his team alive and in this game.
There it is. That's that usage of that tactical we talked about earlier on, maybe the selfish ability of that Pathfinder actually able to shine in a moment like this and give a Phony that opportunity. But moments like these, James, it's just simple gunplay that spells the difference.
So despite that, though, it was going to be Nerf that ended up taking the win. So let's go ahead and, if we could, I would love to check in with the overall leaderboard before we head into game number 6, because we're having huge swings in terms of points. I mean, these are such consequential games. Take a look. Team VIZIO, they had a 200-point lead over Team Intel at the beginning of the night. It has been cut down now. It's down to 173, so 30-point difference. I mean, these slow increments do make a huge difference, as we still have plenty of weeks left here in Series E. But Nerf now trying to build that lead over Excedrin. But here we go. Heading into the final game of the day. Our 2 leaders currently, Intel, Lazarus. Can anyone stop them? Well, they did in game number 5. But if anyone wants a chance at winning tonight, they need to do it again here in the final game. So let's see. Is the mill still going to be a complete cluster of teams dropping down?
Already?
Black Hand in an early fight up against Oxygen, and they've already knocked out 2 of them.
Already 6 members down with the game beginning, albeit a squad still standing. So we've got a bit of a cross between 2 teams here remaining. And Black Hand, once again, changing POIs, this time around taking the tower out by Barometer, and they were quickly able to find victory in their own fight. Now out towards Athena. Continued action here. Twisted Sin still trying to find an axis point. Hopefully this time around, maybe a little bit more or better looted on both sides.
Team Intel down at Barometer fighting this fight. Now SlurpyG has to back away as he's been cracked. Moody, though, it's almost one clip there. Fearless is the healthiest member for his squad. He's just going to buy some time now for SlurpyG to hit up that bat as well and try to reposition. But you can see the door has been blocked. Mooney is keeping an eye on the team inside right now as he's trying to back away. They're trying to thirst him, and Fearless needs to show up, but no, they're going to allow him to get thirsted, and now they're getting shot up from behind. As as Fearless has to back away. But what? How did they see Casellos there? It's Nestle Splash showing up for this one. And now, do they just back away, go for the res at a different position, or do they go for the res here?
Oh, it'd be risky as anything. Remember, Blackhand sits just above of this tower. I don't know, or had that been any kind of movement from them, could still be just as dangerous here. Out towards Antenna. Fights continue. This time around, we look towards VIZIO. They're the ones now in play. Dome down, Scissors on the other end. He's not even going to try to work his way across. Just waits for his team arrive. Plays it with the appropriate pace to pick up a clean one-off kill there.
Yeah, Surus knocked down. We're down to 14 squads. This is looking
okay,
a lot
all
like
right.
game number one once again. Taking a look at the ring, though, pulling up to Command Center and Stormcatcher. You have to imagine a lot of teams are going to be probably investing heavily in finding a spot over at Stormcatcher, but I don't even know if there's going to be plenty of teams to play off of that. We're already down a third of our lobby currently, and other members trying to back away to go for the Rez's team. Intel being one of those squads, as well as it looks like they are backing away. They're trying to make their way maybe down to Shipball, find a Rez over there for their fallen comrade currently. So the action finally has slowed down a bit.
Well, for now, teams like Lazarus still alive, and they're the ones making the heaviest of rotations we got the opportunity to see there on that map, already trying to find some sort of position, what I can only assume, like you said, being in Stormcatcher there. So very interested to see how they fall. We know there's a squad already there. Given that opportunity, you know, if they don't have the best kind of lineup, which I would doubt, Lazarus has been showing some massive improvements in these last few weeks. But with a game like Game 5, we never can count out an early death, you know, anytime soon.
Now, Lazarus has been really good about their macro calls almost the entirety of their careers. Regardless of the map, as we join on board with Precision Gaming, though, they catch out a squad going for that replicator and almost get the knock, or at least get the crack, but now they're going to go ahead and push up with that tether, not quite connecting, but the missile swarm and the nades are starting to land. They need to get a knock, though, because they're still playing off of whites here. The attack for blues on the other side. They're tough. Allowing them to back away, though. The phase breach has been used by the Ash on the other side of this one, and now they're getting tagged by the nades. Great phase breach to get them inside of a building and try and close that gap. DAJ even getting a nice armor upgrade at the very least onto the blue, but they've given up position for it.
And this is a little bit scary here because you can see already the squad is taking position on the outside there. And while they, in this situation, might find the break, might find the damage as the Valkyrie escapes the corner, the rest of the squad is arriving. Now a 2v2 scenario. Bucky, those shields not anywhere to be found here. DAJ dropping with the EV8, unable to pick up what he wants. That's Gas Station Gaming, able to source out their own victory. Back though, Trash coming through with the third party. Peacekeeper on the side here. A drop though found by Nuke Team instead from the second floor high ground. Back inside to work for those full thirst. It looks like the one remaining member has run far and long away.
Yeah, great third-party timing from Trash there. Understanding that there was no time for them to go for that full reset, heal up their armors and such. Still trying to suss out where that last remaining player is, but he's long gone. And we'll see if maybe Icy River can turn around to try and pick up these banners, but it's going to be very difficult. They're right on the edge of the zone, so the squad can just hang around for as long as they want, really. I mean, take a look. There's still 2.5 minutes left for this zone to close. Razor in a fight. CAA now down to just one player remaining. I'm going to use this opportunity to try to go for the reset, but Fearing Live has been taken out. Quick res, though, coming out, but Dreza gets tagged, and he's not going to have an opportunity for it. As, oh boy, things are starting to turn around on Team Razor. It looks like Dreza found a small pocket to try and heal off of, but he's backed away because of that Arc Star. And another nade coming in, another Arc Star, forcing Dreza out of cover. Unfortunately, for that player, he's not following up with you know, holding an angle with some sort of gun to try and take him out if he knew how low Dreza actually was. But yeah, another squad is showing up behind him. He hears it. They throw in that black hole to try and buy some time. Razor backing away as they get tagged from either side of this valley, and it's going to be Trippin showing up to pick up these kills.
already here. Trippin picking up more than what they had planned there as he fights for the last full thirst. Got to be careful playing on top of that roof there. Already there's another squad out in the west pressuring there. I'm not sure if that was the entirety of Razor, correct me if I'm wrong, but they're definitely nowhere close to the performance necessary for a team that was in third on the back end of this one.
Now Trippin just waiting out this defensive bombardment. They've got us another full 3-man showing up. 2 peeking the doors over there. Decent damage out from Zanabu, but he gets tagged himself and needs some time to hit a bat. Doesn't have an armor swap it looks like to work off of as well, and 3 bats, so he's gonna be fine. He just needs to actually heal himself before this fight breaks out. He almost got tagged across that death box, and it looks like the push has come in. It's gonna be Team Excedrin pushing in with that bubble. Zanabu left by himself. Excedrin pick up the +3 here. Enemy needs to go for the quick reset because this has been a hotbed of action here, and you can see they will take that time to go for that full reset. Kimchi Lee hears someone on the outside as well. He's doing a great job playing that sentry guard role for his squad. And so Excedrin pick up the +3. They'll reset now as we join on board with YFP Gaming up against Lazarus. This is huge. They haven't knocked out Lazarus quite yet, but Lazarus are the big contenders up against Team Intel, who are still alive.
Right, and Intel, we just saw them take a successful full 3-man trade against Black Hand in the midst of all that fighting. So continuing to rack up the KP, that makes it that much harder to put this one away. I know I'd hate to say it, but teams at this point could potentially be starting to play for what will be that second place position, especially with Lazarus being decimated as they are here.
Yeah, Team Intel, and they had a 20-point lead, at least 20-point lead over third place and below. The closest was Lazarus, when they have not been knocked out quite yet. We're down to 9 squads here in the second zone, 23 players. So it looks like maybe Lazarus and 1 other rat running around somewhere. We'll check in with them in just a moment. Right now,
your
again,
math is fast.
It's all about these players getting that early position over at Stormcatcher, like we called. Ring probably pulling over here, so you can see why there's a lot of action right now taking place inside the center of the zone.
Looking to see if maybe they've found their way underneath, playing the crevices on that underside of Stormcatcher. VIZIO here themselves actually quite far away, haven't made any kind of action here into the zone just yet. They've got a squad right in front of them. They'd be happy to pick up this before they push it any further. In fact, they more than likely have to. They don't have a choice.
Yeah, fighting at Cascade Falls, surprisingly enough, even though we're down to less than half the lobby, teams are still fighting each other on the edge right now, as VIZIO are slowly giving up ground, but they're not giving up height quite yet. Tony still maintaining this for his squad. I mean, all 3 players can at any point take height. That's the nice thing about running this triple mobility composition for VIZIO, but it looks like they are slowly getting backed up. Scissors is dropped down low, and he's slow healing, which is a really bad sign
Another
for Team
squad.
VIZIO. As another squad ends up showing up behind them. That grab lift, though, that Horizon getting instantly focused down. Cracked Scissors still needs to heal up, and you can see why not having a bat is so crucial.
Now they're going to have to take it low, especially with that defensive bombardment coming down, pressuring the other squad, also finding their way in, utilizing the line there. Phony just trying to find some kind of entrance here, but this squad inside is pressured every and any entryway. Either Fury, Scissors, going to post up on the side here, defend against the outskirts. This team above them in no way looking to make any moves here at any point, taking advantage of the second place hold that they currently have. Just want all the action to die around them first.
Yeah, literally half the rest of the lobby is currently here right now inside Cascade Falls, dropping away to River Center. VIZIO is going to try and create some space, but you can see how their economy is getting punished. Fury forced to use that bat once more, needs to even take another few seconds to hit that med kit, but because of just the high prevalence of teams in the area, he's going to actually have that time to do it. VIZIO looking to turn around, possibly come in, and Team Intel is the first one to go down. Phony, big pickup for him. If they want a chance at being able to win out this game, they need a huge game. They also need to knock out Intel a little bit earlier than this. Slurpee G, the next one to fall, and now there's only Mooney left for Team Intel.
This is great. Mooney there, you see him escaping out towards the west. You know they want it. Obviously, they have no real clue who this might be. Could potentially be paying, you know, a look at who they're dropping in terms of these legends. But for now, they've got to defend for themselves. They can think about that later. Scissors with the wingman trying to find the shots. Dome down, slide forward. Peacekeeper to find the knock. Now one more ahead. The Ash ulting. They're going to go for the full wipe. Get that armor swap here as Phony leads the pack.
And VIZIO, though, not going to overextend onto this one. They got their KP. They'll be able to pick up a little bit of loot, extra heals for them that they desperately need. With the ring coming up behind them, they need to find a way on in. And it looks like there's a back away. They can slide down the hill and start moving through the south if they want to. They don't need to really fully engage into this because ring number 2 doesn't tick as much as ring number 3, ring number 4. So they can still take their time to rotate through, but it looks like they're going to lurk. Another team might be showing up here. And maybe they're just trying to camp the banners of Team Intel. So many things that could be that they could be processing right now.
They've got the resources to spare, hopefully, especially with some of those death crates available. But right there, just to sneak away, you've got a squad extended that as missiles going to give this Valkyrie's position up. Phony's got to be careful. He will be pressured just as quickly here from Pyro on the side. As a result, will fall. Fury taking to the skies with the gravity lift. Has to pull back though, no shields to spare, and then with that dome down, you have no kill pressure here. VIZIO, this late, you know, stick could be their end, but no squad wants to extend on them either.
That was Intel knocked out. That last Gibraltar was Mooney trying to go for that, and you can see that's why VIZIO was sticking around. They wanted to count the banners, make sure, but now they are getting pressured themselves. 2 medkits in the hands of Scissors, Phony popping one himself. Fury, unfortunately, stuck with just syringes here, and he's going to have to chain them back to back to back if they just want to survive. A minute left before the zone starts closing. You can see they're handing out the meds to stay alive throughout all of this. Razor, though, playing over at Command Center, one of the squads currently gatekeeping on the western edge, as they do have a player down. That's going to be Kim Chi Lee falling, getting finished off by Dreza. They're backing away now as Fearing Live is getting pushed, and that's a good missile swarm to stop that push onto him. He was the isolated player.
Cruising down.
Tried to take advantage of that, but their aggression was punished by Razor now. Great spray down from Dreza, and that's Team Excedrin now knocked out. 6 squads remaining. Razor, can they do it? Can they finish off strong here?
This is big here. I know there's the mix of the squads available, one being, I believe, that 2-man, but Razor, 3rd place, sitting 49 points here. We don't know how Lazarus has fared, and the extent of the seeing their death banners almost surely secures in my head that they've been removed from this game, but a continuation, the fact that they've got major coverage here into the Stormcatcher area, with most of those squads still playing out by Cascade Falls, they could go for the win and potentially usurp that position now.
Yeah, 6 squads left as round 3 begins closing now. This is definitely faster than game number 1 that we had, which was absolutely absurd. But this itself it looks like every team is just looking for the fights. Now, Razor, looks like they might have just spotted a team, hitting that zip line, but they're a little bit preoccupied. They do hear the shots, though. That finally does give away that another squad has shown up to the area, not too far away, but this is their opportunity to still try and gatekeep now. Dreza is going to try and push up to that rock to cut off this squad, but he still has to be careful playing on his ones up here for now. But it looks like he'll get a decent vantage point. There's a lot of foliage that he has to deal with, unfortunately, though. He has to drop down because of that OOB VIZIO. It looks like it was that squad that was moving up, and now they're forcing out a lot of ultimates. They've used a lot of ultimates themselves. The Black Hole along with defensive bombardment going down from the other squad, forcing out that Valkyrie to try and back away. He's isolated. You can see the push coming out from the rest of VIZIO to try and finish him off. That's going to be Dimmy from Nerf going down. Turn does answer back for one onto Phony, and they are stuck out here in the ring. They're taking so much damage. VIZIO on the verge of getting knocked out. Scissors only has syringes. He's just going to die to the ring here. He knows it. So Nerf and VIZIO just griefing each other out in the edge of the zone. VIZIO has been eliminated. We're now down to 4 squads remaining. Trash as a 2-man here. YFP, they've got the full 3-man set up in position over at Stormcatcher Ring, pulling away from the majority of Stormcatcher going to the northern side of that zone. As you can see, Mills just keeping an eye on the western side. That's where the rest of the squad, rest of the lobby is.
Baited as well here on the inside of that building, getting a nice angle here from that Kraber. Still, second shot, none to count here as he used to try to take position. Ooh, able to find the shot, but not quite the knock that YFP might have wanted there. Then, not likely that we'll be seeing that Valkyrie outside anytime soon again now.
Yeah, at this point for YFP, you know, even though the Kraber knock would be fantastic, it's just about applying pressure here and farming up the shields because they're still sitting on purples and blues. They're really close to getting at least one red. They do have a team coming up behind them, though. You see the turnaround. I believe that's the two-man that is still there. Razor and Baited across the ways. It's about making sure you land a decent shot. Just one shot onto a Razor member will give them the priority to rotate up north and gain that high ground position from the rest of the lobby. So Miles, this game is basically in his hands. Oh, nice shot, 145 onto that Valk.
One
and you
more.
can see Linksify get the knock. Does he get the midair? He
Yes!
does! YFP coming up with some big shots onto Baited right now.
Here's another.
You can hear another Valkyrie ultimate being used. This time around, though, they're not going to be able to hit the shots, but they're going to keep eyes on that squad. They should note that it is a two-man. They might just full send it onto them, allow Razor and Baited to deal with each other right now.
Watch the drop. Watch where they may land. A good Kraber would do them in, but behind the rock they go. Razor, YFP, they themselves taking their own fights here as they try to extend their way in. Sadly, Baited did fall in the midst of this one as now Razor up against that wall there. There's not a lot of further cover, only the rock available, as they will have to be forced out into the open once that zone pins them here.
What a final zone.
It.
Take a look at that. Going out into the open. Now, you will have the fence line to try and play off of with some bins as well. A defensive bombardment going down on top of Razor. Were they keeping tabs on the bubble? And it looks like they were, as they're getting decent connects, but nothing really crucial out of that. I feel like they could have maybe just held on to that ultimate for a little bit longer here, unless they've got some ultimate excels in the back pocket to play off of. That could have been a huge thing, but it does look like they do have the ultimate excels, and we'll see if he has maybe one more left to try and get that ultimate for this final fight.
Doesn't look like that's going to be in Hill's back pocket there still. They're beginning to call out where the next drop may fall, especially right next to that grab can as well as the rock ahead. Still, they've got some space to work with. Razor pressured heavily there. We see that bat posted just a second ago here. It's a bit of a shame that they let this two-man get out in front of them here. Could have had advantage of that northern side, and then, you know, YFP able to gatekeep any squad that might have pressed their advantage. Now they're kind of playing with their own back up against the wall.
Yeah, two Kravers, one in the hands of YFP and then Pyro on the other side. That was the one that got the knock onto Razor, applying so much pressure onto that three-man squad here.
Wow.
Looks like for YFP, it's going to work out for them as they got the knock onto Bursty, forcing out the bubble, and that's a crucial one. Look at the timing that the bubble comes out
Insane.
at. It's 5 seconds before that zone starts closing up. Pyro, you're standing in the middle of nowhere. How are you still alive? He slides down and narrowly survives as Razor takes to the skies, and that was actually pretty big for them that, you know, enough attention was drawn away for them that they were able to use that skyward dive, and they drop right below YFP Gaming now. And Miles still 70%, 30% away from that ultimate. Could be useful in taking out that two-man just across the ways. Razor as a three-man trying to challenge them using that grab. Let's great shot, but it's gonna be Kizim who ends up going down. Again, just so much attention being drawn away from them. YFP let this game just get away from them. They lose out on one, they lose out on two. Dreza answers back, and it's gonna be the two-man of Trash to finish things off. We'll see them push forward. Dreza tries to get away on that rail cannon, but no, he will not survive. It just looked like it was a shot put at that point. Great finish coming out from Trash, but can't help but feel like that game got away from YFP, who should have been able to get that win.
Should have found their way a little bit further north, taken advantage of that high ground. Even Razor could have potentially found a rotation for themselves. I know they were held back by the control from YFP for an extended period, but you know, that rotation just was available in its own right here. So big props to Trash. a two-man win there against all of those odds. I mean, you don't see finishes like that very often.
Yeah, so great game for Trash, taking the final win of the day. That means we're going to take a final break as well. When we get back, we'll be able to announce our first and second place finishers for the evening. So don't go anywhere, guys. We'll be right back after this.
I'm fading!
One bad headache can crash your entire game.
Excedrin relieves headaches fast.
Excedrin, game over for headaches.
It's fruit refreshing, refreshingly sweet, but without sugar, 0 calorie treat. They're all our top fresh flavored splash.
It's fruit freshing.
The Trash was taken out by Trash there in the end of our final game of the day, as Trash do grab the last win here. So the partnered squads will be able to rack up another here to close out the night. Of course, things got really interesting in the back half of that game with Team Intel going out much earlier than I think a lot of us would have expected, and that certainly opened up an opportunity for the following three teams, Lazarus, Razor, and Nerf, to try and chase them down at the top of the standings. Razor may have a shot at it, though I don't know if they did enough. Nerf and Lazarus going out much earlier than they needed to get into contention for first place, but we will see how things shook out on our Mobile One leaderboard when we go back to Jamerson and Zephyr. Before we do that, though, let's look at our final player of the game here for tonight's competition, and it's going to go to Dre Sav here. 7 kills, no assists, but 1100 damage from the Razor player here, and a solid finish. Even though they don't grab the victory, they're still getting some good points there, and we've, again, followed it all throughout the night, and it is something we're going to be keeping an eye on and tabs on this story as the season wraps up. We only have a few more weeks left, and of course it is all about getting into that top 3, holding on to that sponsorship and securing your spot in Season 5 of Series E Apex Legends. Right now, VIZIO, Intel, and Nerf have their names set to come back next season, but Excedrin and Razor could throw a wrench into all of that if they keep playing well like they did tonight. We are going to go to a quick break right now, but when we come back, we'll wrap up VIZIO Week. We'll see who's on that Mobile One leaderboard and close the show, so don't go far.
All right, we had a real back and forth finish there in the final 3 games as well. So we need to check in with the Mobile One leaderboard to see who came out on top. So many of the middle of the pack teams really vying for that second place, maybe even first place position. But did they do enough? Checking in with the Mobile One leaderboard, who are our final 2 of the evening. And right now, it looks like we're having a little issue, so we'll check in with it as soon as we can. But I mean, what a day. I mean, you saw that there was a drastic change, Zephyr, in how the games were played here on the open night. And you can see, I kind of said it at the beginning at game number 1, it was quite puggy.
Yeah, there was definitely some speed at which we saw these teams fall. And I will say, I don't think it particularly let up, especially going into that 6th game there. Towards the end, we were sitting, round 3, half the lobby gone. 8 teams actually then sitting 4 at Cascade Falls, almost out of zone for a full thirst of all things that then came back to bite anyone and everyone who was participating there. So who knows?
Yeah, so it looked like a lot of teams, especially our partner squads, really taking page out of Intel's book from last week. But we do have the Mobile 1 leaderboard, so let's see who ends up on top. And Team Intel did enough. And it looks like Razor, with that top 2 finish, I believe, end up securing themselves 2nd place. Lazarus, despite having 2 wins under their belt, end up falling to 3rd place.
Just didn't quite find the rotation that they wanted early into Stormcatcher, and were in fact capitalized by teams like, YFP, who were able to hold on to that POI, and as a result, those points, they counted. For now though, let's take a look at the final Mobile 1 high performance moment of the game here.
Yeah, timing on that Kraber shot, hitting that Valkyrie, easy follow-up from Fearing Live from close range with the triple take to finish him off, and then a 2nd player going down. Great shots coming out from YFP. That takes out Baited, and that brought us down to the 3-team situation. Everything looked good for YFP. Their spot was in zone. They had a Kraber. It was a 2v3v3. They had height. But then things got away from them. So congratulations, Team Intel, 2 weeks in a row now, taking the win here in open night. Not as a spectacular victory as they had last week, but a win is a win, and points on the board are points on the board.
Yeah, you can still find your way to putting those points where they count, with ESA slowly closing off here. We're only what now? I'm thinking 3 weeks ahead of what will be the final moments of this season, right? It's everything that counts. And I don't know how close they are to taking this one away from VIZIO, anytime soon, but performances like that, it'll be soon.
Yeah, that's right. Slowly, Team Intel are closing the gap onto VIZIO, and with 3 or 4 weeks left to go, we're going to be making sure we're keeping close tabs on that cumulative leaderboard. That's going to do it for us, though. We will be back tomorrow night for Pro Night, so you guys aren't going to want to miss that. But before we go, let's go ahead and send it on over to Yeso to close out the show. Yeso, go ahead and take it away, man.
Thank you, Jamerson and Zephyr. Great cast on the day from both of you two. Certainly always fun to listen to you both. Congratulations, of course, again to Team Intel. As Jamerson mentioned, back-to-back open night victories. They had their record-breaking one a week ago today, and they followed up with another strong performance here tonight. Their 3rd overall open night victory of the season, as they continue to build on this strong foundation, and Intel now a big threat here late in the season. Razor with a strong finish as well. They weren't able to catch up to Intel in that final game, but still a good 68-point showing and a strong close to the night there for Team Razor as they continue to try and chase down Excedrin and Nerf and get a spot in that top 3. So that's the kind of performance you need to have, keep on a night after night basis if you want to jump into the conversation there for top 3. So well played from Razor there as well. That does do it though for open night here. Of course, VIZIO week will continue tomorrow. Jamerson mentioned it. We'll have Pro Night tomorrow, where some of the best pro teams will come out to compete with our Series E squads, and another 6 games between World's Edge and Storm Point, so don't miss out on that, as all the action will kick off at 4 p.m. Pacific time. We'll have Guilty Gear on Thursday, and I'll be back with some friends all over again this Friday for series recaps. So you're not going to want to miss out on that, especially if you missed any of the action last night or tonight. That does it for me. My name is Yeso, your host. As always, a pleasure to be here with all of you. Thank you so much for joining us. For myself, the entire live broadcast crew, and everybody here at Esports Arena, thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you again tomorrow.